Welcome, welcome, welcome. Skottie Talk with Tyler and Dustin, and special guest artist Jamie Jones. Welcome to the show, Jamie. How are you doing
Hey,
tonight, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing? I'm ready.
Yeah, we're
I'm yeah,
we're
I'm
getting there. We're getting
yeah.
there. So,
No, we're both jazzed. You can't lie, Dustin. We were gushing
no,
before
no, no.
Jamie got on, so
Yeah. No, no. Jamie is. We've talked here for 10 minutes. I feel like I know Jamie forever. So this is such a great dude. You are going to be so blown away by his conversation tonight. So I've set the bar really high now, Jamie. Now
Yeah,
live
I'll,
up
I'll
to it.
try to I'll try to achieve the bar.
Yeah,
I feel like we should address the elephant in the room,
please
yeah.
do. Yeah, I forgot
which
all
is
about it. It's natural now. So
which is
go on, Tyler.
Tyler's mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this as well as we'll see is a character that you designed, Jamie, the baboon. And this came with this Spacao bundle I bought at Heroes about a month or so back. And it was one of those cut out, paper mask they used to find, in comics and everything. And I was like, I remembered at the last minute, I was like, oh snap. I was like, I forgot I have that baboon mask. I was like, so I like cut it out today. I didn't have string, so I had to find floss, but it, works out fine. It smells minty fresh. It's great.
Resourceful.
Yeah, so but yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I was talking with Jamie. I loved and appreciated the detail of being able to fold the nose in such a way to get the point, the beaky point. Thank you,
There we go.
Dustin. Yeah,
No problem.
the beaky point there. So, yeah, no, I had to rock this. So I said I wasn't gonna wear it all night, but I don't know. I think I need to wear it all night. So
Yeah, and this could be a 3 hour show, so this is going to be a feat of endurance to get that in.
Jamie
Right,
there.
that's right.
Yeah, I forgot, Jamie. Just if you have to get off at any time, man, just let us know. We're good.
We're yappers.
We'll keep
yeah.
talking about you afterwards, but we'll just let us. We don't want to keep you past your time. So
Oh, I
there's
am I am y'all's. Don't worry about that at all.
oh, careful words. We're, uh, let me ask you real quick. The mask, is it still? Can people still order this mask? Is the package still available, or is this
Yeah,
just?
I send them out. I need to actually send a bunch of them to the guys at Power Pulp Comics. That's a new thing that is. I guess we can start the show talking about Power Pulp. Power Pulp is a new creator collective that I'm a part of. I was a co-founder with, and it's a bunch of indie creators. We're all kind of pulling our resources together and getting distribution to comic shops and to find people like you that want comics that are a little off the beaten path, but kind of still hit that mainstreamy world. We're all self-publishing artists. We just got Jim Rugg to go in on it, so we're slowly getting bigger and bigger and getting even guys who have books at Image and books at Dark Horse and everywhere still self-publish zines and just like passion project stuff that they still want to be able to distribute to comic shops. And we're kind of trying to figure out a way to be the middleman between.
That's
so it is a distribution. It's under the guise of a publisher, right? So we have a look and we have a thing that we're trying to do. It's powerpulpcomics.com. It's the easiest way to get any of my books now. That's where it goes through. So
Oh, nice. Yeah, make sure and check that out because
Yeah, we got the link for that as well as the Substack there as well. So
nice.
And
I
then
run
Jamie-
the Substack, so if you
yeah,
have
Jamie,
Okay.
you run it. So
yeah, make sure after the show to check his Substack out because
no,
they're great
yeah.
interviews on that. Great material for his content. It's well worth checking out.
Well, I like the story too of in another interview you did where you talked about how the idea was to kind of go in all together to go through like Diamond and stuff, and then the comic industry, as you pointed out, and I thought was really great, was it's all about pivoting. You just got to pivot, and
Right.
be able to pivot. So to be able to pivot and then still go through with this and move forward, and like you said, I like that it also took off the weight off of each of your shoulders. That you didn't have to do every single aspect and piece. You had talked about, you don't jive as well with social media, but somebody else might, versus you might do this one thing better. So to be able to lean on each other in a way is really awesome. So
yeah, it's really fun. It's been really fun. It's been really cool to see the trajectory of it and kind of see who we launched at HeroesCon this year. So it was cool to see like the initial talk and the bump with everything and see where people were coming from. And who was an immediate supporter, what comic shops went all in and stuff like that. And yeah, it's been really cool. just to be a part of something. You know, you sit in your room all day and you make something by yourself, especially if you're self-publishing. Um, Anything independent, you're not really talking to people, even if you want to be. So it's nice to have the weight off of my shoulders for social media, or even just like going in on a uh, PR push, right? With if 13 creators are all chipping in, it's a lot cheaper than
Yeah.
Oh, most
a
definitely.
PR person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, and I mean it's cool, and I mean to be all aligned and working toward your own goals, but that align or so similar as well. And like you said, I mean it's also, I'm sure, just nice to have that camaraderie. Like you said, to be
Yeah.
alone, and I don't work in comics, but I work in the game industry, and I've been remote for the past 4 years. So it's the same deal where I'm just like in my room by myself. We have meetings occasionally, kind of a deal,
Yeah.
but it's, you miss that, that personal conversation you can get that can, lead to, all kinds of different things rather than that disconnect, from being alone. So,
yeah, for sure.
and nobody likes being alone. We all like being alone
No.
sometimes, but not all the time. Like,
Gosh,
I have alone time, but it's not all the time. So
it took me a long time to realize that, because I was very much like, I'm going to do this myself. It's going to be fine. And then, the last couple of years, I just, COVID was real. It was kind of real easy because I was like, oh, I'm already doing this. I'm already doing it alone, and it's fine. And it was after COVID. So, funnily enough, I feel like I just, Arrested Development hit it. And I went, oh, being alone's miserable. And I need friends and people to go hang out with.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I mean, it's those experiences, and yeah, it's the same. Like when the weekend hits, I'm like, okay, we need to get out. I've been in the house all week, I want to get out of here now, kind of a deal. And oftentimes, you read a lot about that from artists and stuff. That's where a lot of motivation and stuff can stem from too. The outside of the industry itself, but just being able to, go outside and get it that way. So
yeah. I've met some of my greatest friends. They also, one, have nothing to do with comics, which is nice. But also they just at coffee shops and bars. I mean, that was my thing. I was living in Savannah, Georgia for 4 years, and the best friends I've ever made were there, and just we were constantly hanging out and constantly doing stuff. And sometimes I'd be working while we were doing it, but that was, the deadline still happens. And if I'm just coloring, I can color wherever. So
yeah, you can get that through. No, and that area is just, Savannah is such a beautiful area. I looked at going. You had mentioned it. I looked at going there for school. I ended up going elsewhere, but yeah, gorgeous area. So
yeah, it's great. I did not go to school there. I just moved up there because it was pretty, and wanted a
that's
friend
understandable.
Group. Wanted some camaraderie, and I found it. I ran a drink and draw there for 3.5 years while I was there.
Oh, nice.
And that's still going. In fact, tonight I started an event, a speed dating event. It was more like speed networking. It's artist networking, but it sounds lame, so we called it speed dating. And they're doing their first speed dating event without me tonight, and it's
oh no!
I'm like all nervous about it.
How is it going? Like calling, texting every now and then, like
we apologize for that.
Oh no, I'm not there.
Okay, you're different location. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, real quick question. This one's for Tyler. Tyler, well, Jamie had said off the air, for anybody that is just now tuning in and didn't hear our off-air conversation, that he had a lot of other creators sending people to his table. And I thought, well, Tyler, is that how you got your inspiration? But then before the con even happened for Heroes this year, Jamie, Tyler was messaging our little art group and saying, hey, our buddy Seth that's on here, can you go to Jamie's table first thing and get one of those books that's to the left of this screen here, if you can see the screen. So what drew your attention to Jamie? Like I'm just curious now, and Jamie probably wants to know too, but
no, it was
it
was so again, it's weird because I grew up in North Carolina, an hour away from Charlotte. So I could have attended Heroes Con. For whatever reason I didn't. I think because I just lacked money. I also lacked a license at one point in high school, just things that come up as they do with people. But But anyways, last year was my first time going, and I just went with the sole intent of getting my first original art from Skottie. That was it. I'd already paid for it. I was picking it up. So that was like my goal. And then I was just going to like, walk the floor and look at everything. It was incredibly overwhelming, way more overwhelming. I mean, cons always are, but this was more so less from a standpoint of like, there's so many booths with, lights and flashing and all these things trying to get your attention. It was just more so from a sense of, wow, there are so many amazing artists here that I was not prepared for coming from MegaCon, which I know you also attended back in, before, and I love MegaCon, and it's great, but it's, as the title says, it's MegaCon. It's everything, anime and celebrities and all that kind of stuff, and it's gotten so big. So this year I was like, I'm going to prepare. I'm going to go through the list of artists. I want to, see the people that are going to be there. I want to like have a game plan, maybe some booths I'll stop by and everything. And I think it was like 4 days before I picked back up and was going through, and I came across your Instagram, and I was like, well, first off, I saw this. It's funny enough, all the people that I ended up following were people that Skottie and Stupid Fresh Mess were already following. And I was like, well, that makes sense. I think I told you that, and you were like, well, they have, you have good taste. They have great taste. Yeah. And, I saw your work, and I was just like, man, I just love, this, what the subject matter that you tackle, as well as, the art style that you had. And so I was like, I love Rocketeer. Rocketeer is one of my personal favorite movies as a kid. Like, I just love that character, and I love that movie. And I was like, man, you would do an amazing Rocketeer. And so that's when I like reached down. I was like, hey, would you be able to do this commission? Or I think I bought it from the site. And then you would post it like a day or two before, like Spakal, you're gonna have like bundles with the sketches. And I was like, oh, perfect. I was already going to look at Spakal, so these sketches will be really cool. And I was like, oh my gosh, are they gonna like sell out instantly? And like Seth, our friend, like had like floor access early, and he was like, you want me to stop by? And I was like, yeah, if you could. I was like, I'm interested in either the cowboy or the robot. And yeah, he messaged, he was like, yep, they're all still here. And I was like, okay, good. So I just didn't want to miss out on it. But yeah, I mean, it just happenstance, just going through the artists and everything. And I'm so glad I did. There were so many people that I found that way. Most of the booths I went to were people like, hey, I'm interested in your art. I want to see who you are as a person. And that for me is such a big thing too, of getting that sense of a person. And the instant you go up to their booth, you can kind of tell whether or not you jive with somebody, or like, is being an outgoing person, a talkative, I'm forgetting the actual term, I keep want to say exterior.
Extrovert.
Yeah, thank you. Goodness. Good thing Tyler isn't here. He'd be losing his mind right now.
That's exactly right.
No, yeah, being extroverted, I love talking, and that's probably my favorite part of the cons, is just talking with people. And I included this picture because you had such an amazing booth setup. It was so simple, yet so fitting for you, and so fun, the style of these suitcases and briefcases that were open, and the art stacked inside. Like, this
comment from Zach described it perfectly, where he says it's like well, Jamie was, because this previous picture good Lord, it said, looks like Jamie's opening a briefcase store. Just as like, well, that's because he is. This is such an amazing amazing setup. And whenever Tyler brought me over to meet you, Jamie, at the con, I was like blown away, because I mean, Indy Island is such a cool place to hang out, but your booth kind of stood out from all the other booths that I had walked up and down. And that's no slur towards any of the artists there. That was just a compliment to how well you were prepared and your presentation. And it really paid off. Like, it was really noticeable.
Oh, thanks. I hate wire frames. So, which is like, they're real easy to travel with. They're real easy to set up, but gosh, you really look like everyone else, unless you're Kara McGee, who's just like building a flower trellis around her booth.
That's fair. Yeah. If you're doing something unique or interesting. Yeah.
Right. Chris Schweitzer builds his entire booth every year. And he was catty corner from me. That guy is with power drills, is putting his booth together every time. And we joke, because I just have suitcases that I'm able to just pack everything up and then get out. It takes me 5 seconds to
very convenient.
Shop. It was done on purpose.
It's both functional and like you said, unique. And I mean, it's so true. It is so hard to stand. Another one that comes to mind, I love Anderson Carmen's, because he's in like his baseball. He loves baseball. So like his looks like, it's got the baseball mesh wire and everything. And so you remember those, like, oh yeah, you like, setting up your booth this way or this way. But Yeah, and I mean that's really cool that it just worked out so well like that. You were able to do it both aesthetically, but also functionally. It's like, oh, this is super easy to carry these.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to have like traveling salesman vibes with just suitcases and
Yeah.
shelves and suitcases that just kind of popped open. I have an acting background and set building,
Oh,
so
Yes.
it was. This is the kind of thing where I was like, oh, I feasibly could actually do this and kind of finagle and figure out ways.
oh,
The suitcase was actually built. The suitcase is a vintage suitcase, but the shelving unit was built at the Davidson
Yeah.
scene shop in Davidson, uh, North Carolina, with my friend who used to be the she used to teach scene shopness and was able to use like all of the really fancy power tools that you never get
Oh,
to use.
nice. Yeah.
So it was
No, that's
fun.
awesome. Yeah, I was curious about that. Yeah, because the shelving was so nice, nicely built and like sturdy too. Because that was my thing. I'm always like
yeah.
when I see stuff like that, I'm like, okay, let me just slowly pull this comic so I don't topple the whole thing. But
Yeah.
it was it wasn't going anywhere. So
No, and you said acting background. I mean, this looks like straight off a prop department. So I mean, it's
That's-
really yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, that's a compliment. That's not that once
Yeah.
again. I love how you had it set up. It was great.
That travel easel that I have too has been that's my actual work from home easel as well. I
Oh.
have a big drafting table that I used for a really long time and found myself like traveling to my parents or traveling a lot and going to conventions a lot and needing a portable setup. So
Yeah.
I just made that portable easel my permanent easel that I draw on. Makes
Oh,
the I'm a big fan of uh, putting purpose or putting energy on a item, right? You
Yeah.
use the same pencil, you use the same type of brush and that kind of stuff, just to get you in the mindset of what you're trying to do. I only work on Spacow books uh, in a specific sketchbook. It's only for Spacow stuff.
Oh, that's really
Same with the
cool.
baboon, and just kind of get you in the mindset before you start working. Travel easel. That has been my biggest thing where I'm able to produce work that is similar to my professional, comics work at a convention where you're just thrown off entirely.
Oh yeah. I especially imagine as a vendor. I mean, it's and I tell it to like most vendors because it's like I can only imagine, being an attendee, it's overwhelming. Let alone having to be in that same spot and then hours throughout the day for like 3 or 4 days straight. Talking to a whole bunch of people and you get commissions and you're having to kind of get in that zone and pain and stuff. So that's a really smart way to do it. I mean, to be able to have that comfortability and that uh same sharedness, between your home space and your travel space kind of a deal. So
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not at my table a lot. I, I walk around for, significantly, and well, that's
yeah.
also kind of the way that I've built my fan base too. Is like I'll go over and talk to some of my friends, and if they're talking to
Mhm.
people, um, those people will probably come over to my table at some point, or they'll just
Mhm.
follow me to my table. Um,
yeah.
Yeah.
that happened a lot. That happens a lot at Heroes Con, specifically. Heroes is such a weird beast
Yeah.
that
I agree.
getting up and walking around. Also, they have been extending the back of the table space, so we have a lot more room back there,
Yeah.
which is great. It means it's easier to get out and in, and you're not like shuffling around people.
Try to squeeze
Yeah.
by other artists.
Yeah, they made it real easy for me to leave, which was,
It's really their fault.
good.
Yeah.
It's
No
also-
cage. Yeah.
It's also weird, but
No, I mean
But,
that's fair. Because I mean it's I imagine and when we go there I love getting to see Skottie or like yourself and other artists and everything, but I mean that would be the same for me, getting to see familiar faces, friends, and being able to talk with them, like you said, like we kind of talked about, when you're at home, and then being able to go to a space like this where you have this art collective where you can just find all kinds of different styles and conventions and backgrounds and all that kind of stuff, and meet old friends, meet new friends, and like you said, meet new fan base as well, and kind of cross mingle and help each other out in that sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's incredible. Heroes is kind of different than any other con, like you said, because my first year going was in 2021, and me and another guy ended up standing in line for Walt Simonson for 5 hours to get a like a head sketch.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this guy before, but we ended up striking up a conversation while we were waiting. And now every year I go back, we usually meet for a dinner or something like that. And I've never had that experience at other cons. Just be able to the people that you meet on the floor, maybe just by happen chance, it ends up developing like lifelong friendships. And just like Tyler, I was waiting in line and Tyler came up to me and we started talking. And it was like you know, we had talked online, but just we've almost made Heroes kind of like the family reunion where everybody's like, hey, we're all going to be here. You all can join us and have fun. And this year was a blast because every year it's kind of grown. And looking at some of your pictures, and that sounds creepy, but looking at some of your Instagram pictures, I mean,
Stalking your social media.
yeah, I have did nothing but stare at you for the last 72 hours. So
That's just homework. That's all that is.
yeah, research. But it looks like you know how to have a good time, man. I mean, you're always with a crowd of people. So that,
Yeah, that's
no question there. That was just a
interesting. It's interesting you say that. It's something that, you know, I tell young artists and stuff to. A lot of times, you'll have artists who have like a professional Instagram and then a personal Instagram.
Yeah.
And I have been like, hey, the sooner you can merge those two things and people get to see who you are, it changes the way. It changes the way people approach you, because if you're posting pictures of you having fun with friends, they recognize that you're having fun with friends and you're just out and about. You become the parasocial relationship with people is good when you're trying to sell comics. It's good when you're trying to sell something. People want to know who you are. I am a big proponent of people don't necessarily buy the work, they buy into the person, they buy into the artist. And that's, you know, one of the reasons why, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons Skottie's been doing as well as he is. He's a personality, right?
Yeah, he's
yes.
a full personality.
Big personality.
I know, yeah,
great.
100%.
That's the kind of thing that matters, and that's the kind of thing that, you know, especially if you're trying to sell the thing that you're making, it's good to kind of have a persona. That's why I wear a bow tie, right?
This is the type of comments we get, Jamie. This is what we have to put up with every single time.
That's a great one, Zach.
Yeah, I took me a second. I was like, "What's he talking about?" I looked behind me. I was like, "Oh, he's being a jerk." Okay, so, but we love our jerks around here. But yeah, Jamie. But you're one of the things that. Crap, Zach messed me up. Tyler, take over, dude. I forgot my question. I had a question teed up and everything.
Well, if you find it, let me know. But I mean, that's one of the things going back
man.
and listening to your other interviews, and even just now you talking about, because it's funny because I keep my personal and my professional Instagram separate, and it's so annoying and frustrating. But there's this weird thing where I'm like, yeah, but this, you know, one, I'm posting every single Skottie Young comic or, you know, art piece or whatever I buy. The others, you know, my art and everything. But like you said, it makes so much sense, you know, especially from a comic book artist, and especially one who's more self-published, you know, and rather than, you know, working for somebody like Marvel and everything. Like you said, you are the face of your art, and it's like you said, the main way you have to sell yourself. And I liked in one of your previous interviews, you talked about, because somebody said, you know, somebody asked what advice you'd give to younger artists, and the advice you said you do give currently to younger artists is the quicker your professional work looks more like your sketchbook, the better off you'll be. And again, it's a different way of saying, you know, just do your own stuff, you know, quit trying to copy other people. And I've heard other artists say that same kind of sentiment, but the way you put it just like that was so, like, it was just like one of those like kind of bells, like it just like rang, and I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Like I've heard it before, but for some reason it just connected with me. And you seem to, you know, that thought process goes throughout, like you said, of both personal and professional, and just the kind of that merger and everything. So
yeah, it's something that it's advice I give myself every day. That's, you know, it's the kind of thing that when I started Spacow, I had just come off of an educational comic for the state of Florida for digital information technologies, which is just basic computer skills. And the textbook was being written at the same time that I was doing the adaptation of the of the textbook, and it was a 400-page textbook, and I was done. I was burnt out.
Yeah.
It was about a year and a half of work. It was a great gig. I was done. And you know, when you get something like that and you're tired of doing something, I was tired of drawing. I didn't want to draw. I didn't want to do anything. I started doing the Baboon Daily strips, which run in Spacao now. I've done 260 of them, which are all just, I was posting on my Substack. And then I drew Wizard Cowboy just in a sketchbook. I was just doodling, sent it to my brother, and he said, well, that's the best idea you've ever had. And I just started doing the first Wizard Cowboy story, devoid of Spacao, devoid of anything else, just to kind of have fun and you know, relax and draw the way I draw in my sketchbook, which is, Spacao is that, right? It's just things that I have in a sketchbook that, you know, I want to do, and I want to draw, and I want to draw however I want. And I've been getting more and more into like Al Cap and Will Abner stuff, and eyes are becoming just dots with half circles, and that's, I'm not trying so much anymore. I'm currently, here's a scoop. I'm currently trying to figure out I'm currently pitching or putting together a pitch to for Prince and the Pauper, which is a Mark Twain novel. Big Mark Twain guy over here.
I did get that in a previous interview with Mark Twain.
Yes. Spacao 6, oops, all Mark Twain. It's going to happen. Or I just adapt short stories.
There we go.
Prince and the Pauper is a thing that I've wanted to do for a while, and I've started actively doing it and putting together a pitch and doing some sample pages of stuff, and it's the easiest thing I've ever drawn. And it's one of those things where it's easy because it's one, subject matter I love. The research, which it's all like Tudor England, right? It's 1600 England, is fun to draw. Like that's puffy shirts, and that's a fun thing to draw.
Enjoy drawing that.
And it's like a Chuck Jones cartoon. I'm drawing it in this way that's really, really quick and loose, and I don't know. It has a lot of personality in like the couple pages that I've drawn of it so far, and it's really fun. And
that's awesome.
It's just a further exploration of drawing the way I draw in my sketchbook. I'm not trying. I'm just doing it now, which is great.
No, that's a great story as well. So I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing that. For the last time I remember watching The Prince and the Pauper, I think it was a Mickey Mouse cartoon.
Yeah.
I remember that. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what you do with it. That'll be incredible, I'm sure.
It's I was talking to Chris Schweitzer about it too, and he was like, "Oh, how are you going to do it? Are you going to modernize it anyway?" And I said, "No, we're going right down the middle. It is in period. There's a lot of stuff that gets taken out in adaptation just for time's sake, but I'm doing a comic. I can take however long I need."
Exactly.
So, it works. There's a lot of really fun stuff. There's a whole section in Prince of the Pauper. Forgive me if I am rambling.
No. We love this. This is right up our alley, man.
There's the prince who is the king. So Henry VIII dies in like the third chapter of the book, and so it's really the king and the pauper. The prince is running around, and he has been newly appointed king, and he's around a bunch of, for lack of a better word, hobos. And he's like, I am the king of the country. And they're like, okay, yes, little boy. They all think he's crazy. And they call him like Prince Fifi or Prince Fufu or something, like King Fufu. And it's one of those moments in the book where they're like hoisting him up and they're like, all hail Prince Fufu. And I was like, this is hilarious. This would be a really good comic. This is also something that in the adaptation they take out because it doesn't progress
the story,
the narrative. Really, it gives a lot of really great character development and a lot of great beats for like the theme and the message, the moral story of the book, but it doesn't do anything that propels the plot forward. And so that's Prince of the Pauper. I'm so excited.
No, we are too.
All the Prince Fufu scene, but
No, I mean that's awesome, and then and to that point too, I find, like you said, with whether it's adaptation or just and again it's a byproduct of technology and today and our ability to be able to focus on one thing for more than 30 seconds, kind of a deal. But those side stories, again, it doesn't always have to progress the story. One of my favorite recently is the story of James Gunn and Superman, and I'm assuming we've all seen Superman.
Yeah, spoiler.
Yeah, small spoiler.
4, 3, 2, 1, go.
But Superman in the movie saves a girl that's seen in the trailer, and then right after immediately goes and saves a squirrel.
Yep.
And the conversation was James Gunn said when previewing the movie to people, it got constantly like negative, like you need to take this out. This is, it's not doing anything. There's no need for this. And he fought it and kept it in. And it's not a pivotal point in the movie, but it's pivotal to the character because it's what defines Superman. So it's like to remove that, regardless of if it progressed the story, makes it so much better than if it were missing. So no, that's awesome that you have that same sense for Prince and the Pauper of those small moments again that made it for you that most likely make it for everyone else as well. So
yeah. Well, Superman is another character where it's like he's all character moments, right? Like, you can only punch a guy so long.
Exactly. I mean, he's indestructible again. Yeah, the thing you're annoyed about isn't what makes him that character. It's his humanity. So yeah, no, exactly. So
really looking forward to that. Man, we are through Sly 2, Tyler. So
I know. I was gonna say we can either blast through.
No, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to short Jamie any. But this is. I was like, I just looked up and I was like, oh, we're 30 minutes in. Good. Okay, we'll jump back because Jamie. This is a young man, Jamie. Back in 1995, back in 2014. I heard you speak of Heroes Haven and then quite fondly in some of the podcasts and some of the interviews that we listened to. But how did you get set up there as kind of the in-house artist back then?
There was a guy who worked there who knew that I drew. And I wasn't pursuing comics at this point. I wasn't. I was just actor track, and I was doing professional theater and that kind of stuff over there, and was drawing in a sketchbook. They had an art class that I went to once, and the teacher was like, "Well, you're too good to be in this art class. That's like for little kids." Wow. And I said, well, it was an art class for like little kids. It was
but you kicked their butts.
I kicked those little
kids. Old Homer Simpson.
Stick...
That's an old Simpsons joke. Sorry, it was.
No, the parents are wanting to stick your art on their fridge, not their kids. So.
But that's still good. I mean, it's still nice to hear. That's still good to hear.
Yeah, so I went there, did that, and they had a free comic book day or something or other. And I went to the free comic book day and drew pictures for people because they invited me, or the teacher of the shout out Lou and Pete from Heroes Haven.
This is I believe this is y'all. I just want to make sure it's the first time I've seen him comment on here. So yeah.
Just a second, my computer got unplugged. So let me.
Okay, no, take your time.
The plug is in.
All right.
Lou now works for Fan Expo. It's crazy.
Oh wow!
Awesome. He's bounced around. We talk every now and then. When we can see each other at conventions, it's always the best. Yes, in-house artist. I was a guest of the teacher for this thing. I think to be like, you can draw like this one day, kind of. And I was like, you did not teach me.
This is my best student.
Prize pupil.
And so I was talking to Pete and Lou and Ivan at that show, and the next time I came in were like, hey, so I know you're like one of Vance's kids, but I was like, well, I have no affiliation with this guy, other than just like, I've met him. He's the first person here that I've met. And they were like, oh, well, would you like to be, our in-house artist? And the gig was like choice, especially as a young kid in college and getting to draw. It was like I had a certain number that they were going to pay me every week for commissions, and if I went over, they would pay me for those commissions as
Oh
well.
wow.
But I basically had studio space, office hours at the shop, and people would come in and commission me to do stuff. I used to do these really quick $10 head sketches on backing boards. So people would commission me to do that. We'd do like that every now and then, and I could, make a few $100s, and they would go in people's subscription boxes. So
Oh, cool.
you would just pick it up when you came to pick up your
Get your
subscription.
comics. That's really cool.
And yeah, it was great. It was really. They brought me to my first conventions. They brought me to my first Heroes Con.
Oh, nice.
It was in part of like, hey, we can get artist badges, and we can get to the show floor early. But
Yeah.
They brought me around. They paid for my banner. Clearly, it says Heroes Haven on it.
Oh yeah,
but,
I missed that before.
yeah, they were great. It was really great. They brought me around. I was 23 when I started over there, and I did that for a few years until they went belly up, as many comic shops do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, great time. It was those guys. You talk about going to war with people. You feel like you're doing this crazy thing, like taking massive road trips with people that you don't really know.
Yeah.
Haven't being forced to go and have dinner. It's also where I met my mentor, Bart Sears. Bart Sears was my mentor. It's a weird.
Oh.
I draw nothing like him.
Oh yeah, we got to hear it. So how did that introduction take place? I mean, was it just at a con, or was it through Heroes?
It was at the comic shop. Bart lived in Tampa at the time, and walked into the comic shop and saw me drawing at my office hours, and came in and was like, "All right, I'm going to teach you how to draw comics." It was kind of like low down. He was like, "All right, listen, I think you can do it." Also gave me my first gig. So that was
nice.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Kicking Ice was with Stephanie Phillips, who was like megastar person now. But yes, Steffi and I did that book, and that was because of Bart, because they had a falling out with an artist previously, and Steph was like, "Hey, I'd like Jamie to do it," and
That's the right. There we go.
yeah, there it is.
Okay,
2018, Kicking Ice. Yeah.
Hopefully, I got all these years right. I was trying my best.
Yeah,
to do all the
we
research.
tried. We tried.
I think that's right. I couldn't tell you.
Okay, well, we'll take that.
But yeah, that was my first gig.
Okay.
And it was all because Lee Motor couldn't do it, and they asked me, and I have made a career of being your second choice of artist. So that has been my early career. Was I wanted to make business cards. Was like, your second choice of artist, Jamie Jones.
That would be pretty great. I did prefer your bow tie ones. Your bow tie ones you had at one of the conventions. So those are really cool.
Really early on. Yeah. I have a buddy who was cosplaying as Deathstroke, and we taped one to his Deathstroke costume. It was great.
That's perfect advertising.
Yeah.
No, it's really cool, and that's actually something I was going to be curious about to ask, because watching some of your other interviews and stuff, I got that story, of how you were found and kind of brought into the comic shop, and how that kind of kickstarted everything. But I'm curious, how that transition, from full blown, acting, being a professional actor, wanting to go into that. Was that something you were going to school for currently, and what you were hoping to be the career, get into Hollywood and everything, or more theater, stage kind of stuff?
It was definitely more theater and stage stuff. I had been doing it since I was in middle school, and then I went to college. I went to college for English.
Okay.
So went there when I went to a small community college in Fort Pierce, Florida. I guess now it's a state college, but Indian River State College. Went there for 2 years. Did a bunch of shows when I was there. Kind of got my feet back wet when I was like, oh yeah, acting. This is the thing I'm doing. And when I moved to Tampa, and I was finishing up my degree at USF, I just started doing professional theater over there, partly because that is because I had that foundation at that other school. Everybody knew my old director, so I was able to just kind of transition and start doing professional stuff over there. I was a proper gigging actor in Tampa. I was
Awesome.
10 out of the 12 months of the year I was working.
Wow.
I was doing shows.
Yeah.
Either in rehearsals or performing. I also was a set builder and set painter during that time. So it was much more, it was like I was 18 hours in a theater, in a scene shop,
Gosh.
kind of all day and then all night in rehearsal and then go home and wake up and do it all over again. So,
wow.
How does one go from acting and set building?
Yeah, you were
you were talking about it, so that's killing two birds with one.
Perspective really easy when you're having to like build sets, and then acting translates into drawing. I think more so than there's a great Eisner book. It's the Expressive Anatomy book for narrative.
Yes.
Expressive Anatomy for narrative. One of the best acting books. It's all melodrama. It's all very. It's about how to like where weight sits. And now I have, training in sword and dagger, and I've got weird knowing how to stage stuff. That's, a little different than, I know guys who are karate teachers and their fight scenes in comics are always crazy. And I'm like, oh, how do you even think to stage it that way?
Yeah.
But then you give me a sword fight and I know exactly how to stage it, right? Because it's, you're staging for the stage. I think theater is more like comics than film is, just because you have like a single vantage point. And I know you can move the camera around and all of that stuff, but it feels much more. Yeah,
good comparison. Yeah, having to like center the audience and just out here rather than the TV, like I said, being able to move the camera. I mean, it's such an interesting. I mean, it's the creative, and that's one of the things I've liked, of the past artists who we've had on, Brett Bean and Derek Loffman and yourself. Now, again, that artist journey is so different for each and every single one of you and us, and that's always so interesting to find like, oh yeah, I was in stage acting and set designing, and now I'm I'm in the comics and stuff. And it's like, oh, how do people on the outside say, how does that how does that translate? But the creative field is so fluid, and especially now more than ever with technology for certain fields, being able to kind of blend in between the two. But no, that's really cool to get that like I said, that background and like that transition and how that kind of works. So
the pretentious answer is it's all storytelling, man. Like it's all the same thing. It's
exactly all it's just a different vessel. It's just a different container.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be our quote. That's gonna be our quote from the show. It's all storytelling, man. Jamie Jones. So you don't have to even watch the
question
show.
You get. So like, how did this? Like, it's just all storytelling. It's like, okay.
But to wrap this up before we get on to the next section where we talk about your first Heroes auction, I just want to say everything I saw from Heroes Haven where they were promoting you was like it's almost like they were so proud of you. Like the words they put to describe you and just describing like the next big thing. I mean, it was reading it. And I was like, man, Heroes Havens really thought a lot of Jamie as they were sending him to these cons and representing their store with their brand on it. So as a young artist, I mean, that had to be a good feeling to know that you had a company behind you that was really pushing you and rooting for your success.
It's great. I'll also shout out the guys who are in this post. Tony Cordos just won his first Inkwell Award.
Wow!
Like a couple. He's the inker over Paul Pelletier on G.I. Joe currently.
Okay.
And Ozzy Fernandez, he's been working for a toy company for a while, and those NPC toys, I think Ozzy had something to do with that. So it's like
that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. Like
yeah.
The guys that were around Heroes Haven were pretty cool. I mean, Bart Sears just walked into the shop and was like, "Hey."
It's gonna be like a pinch me moment too.
Yeah, it was really wild. It was crazy. He gets a wild hair every now and then and takes a pupil. And there's a couple of us now. We call ourselves we call each other brothers. But Marlon Shoup, who is my older brother, he is the middle child. He and I are super close now.
That's awesome.
Because of Bart. We did not know each other, met at a Heroes Con, started talking, and then Bart Sears came up, and we both were like, wait. And immediately, I became Uncle Jamie to his kids, and it was
gosh,
wow,
it was great. Yeah, he's awesome.
That's really cool. No,
Shane
I mean,
has,
those
I'm
connections.
sorry.
I was just gonna say, those
Yeah, go on.
connections are everything. So that's really cool. Yeah, to be able to see those names and call them out and do that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
As we kind of look at some of these pictures, I mean, this was MegaCon back in 2014, so I'm assuming this had to be one of the first cons. So
Yeah.
Shane had asked, kind of, what was your mindset going into that? You don't look nervous at all in the picture there, but were there nerves or
blind stupidity? Like that's the reason there's no nerves.
That's a good.
You don't know what you don't know. I get much more nervous about conventions now than I did 11 years ago. It's I just went all in. And, when you have a group of people who are kind of helping you out and showing you the ropes, it makes it a lot easier. I think.
Yeah.
You're not going in blind.
Figuring out everything by yourself. I mean, you have some aides coming to at least
being able to lean
on guide you.
Yeah,
for sure. No.
And I feel like we cheated a little bit, Tyler, because a lot of the questions we have were like siphoned from other podcasts. We're like, we'd hear you talk about things, and in my mind, I would have a question for you, and I was like, nope, I'm gonna steal that one for the show. So, but whenever you were talking about your first heroes, I loved your description of why it's so important to do the auctions. It's not just because it's for a good cause, but just the getting your artwork out there in front of a bunch of eyes in that ballroom or where they do the auction, but. That's why I messaged you and I was like, Jamie, we got to see this piece. This is this was your first one. Can you give us? My question was like, how in the world did you decide to kind of mash these two together?
I couldn't tell you why I did this. I think it. I don't draw a lot of women. I love drawing like cheesecakey pinup stuff, and it's never something that people come up and get from me. I get, just different stuff. And I wanted to do it. I just was like, oh yeah, I'll do Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy was hot at the time. Everyone was, there was a lot of Poison Ivies at that show. And I was like, oh, that's how you get in. You do the one character that everyone's doing. And I was like, how do I make it different? And then I
put your
Marilyn Monroe, and I just went for it. And, Trey, who runs the art auction, really liked it and put it in. And I owe Trey so much, and of my career because of Trey and because of this particular this getting thrown in. It was the smallest piece at that art show, at that art auction. This is when they were still doing the smoking jackets thing. I don't know if do you guys ever hear about the Smoking Jackets Club?
No, yeah.
I have not. Enlighten us on that one.
Oh my gosh. It was Skottie and a bunch of guys. I think Eric Powell was in the Smoking Jackets Club, where they all just came in wearing smoking jackets and would just try to outbid each other. So they would do like these giant bidding wars. And I think one of these years, one of the early years, Andrew Robinson did a Scooby-Doo piece that Skottie wanted and was like yelling at somebody across the room. And the guy who he was yelling at was just a friend of his who was bidding against Skottie just to see how much money it would go for.
Oh, that's great.
That kind of
energy.
That kind of energy. It's tame now, which is good.
That's wild to think.
It was crazy years ago.
That sounds like the Thunderdome or something. That's pretty rough.
It was wild. They had I think the first year that I was there, maybe the second year, they had cosplayers, like sexy cosplayer girls walking around with all of the art pieces up and down the aisles. I was like, this is what this is. This is insane.
Well, is Trey the one that does is he the one that auctions off the pieces up on the stage, or?
Yes, I think it's Trey and Mark are the two.
Okay.
do that.
Well,
Yeah.
whenever we were at the show this year and sitting through the auction, I was like, they have to have the toughest job at Heroes, trying to get the crowd to, because they were like, guys, you have to stop talking now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like half the people would talk louder.
Yeah.
You're putting drinks in people's hands, good friends who haven't seen each other, in months, maybe
Yes,
years.
lots of alcohol there. But I was in line with him. I believe it was Trey I was in line with because he was the one that was up there. And I told him, I said, I commend you, man. I said, that has to be one of the hardest jobs to get these artists to calm down and then to get the people that are talking to him because it was, he was like, "Are you raising your hand? Are you raising your hand? Is that you?" And it's about an hour and a half into it, I was like, I would have been screaming at people at that point.
Oh,
he does a great job.
Yeah, it's a wild time. It's just the fact that anything gets done.
Sold,
yeah. It is fun though. It is a great to be me and Tyler. Did you bid on anything? I didn't bid on anything at the auction. I had spent all my money by that point.
Not this year. Yeah, I did the same. Yeah, I blew everything at the convention itself. I definitely want to get in on it. I mean, it's so cool. Like we were saying. I mean, just want to be able to have us be able to support a good cause. But also to just support the good cause of like the artists. I mean, that's what's so cool is like you said, being able to have this be your first piece in the auction. Again, it gets eyes, maybe if you're a newer artist, and, to be able to, then see you come back each year, and have a different piece, and have more people bid on it, have somebody else, bid on it, somebody grab it, an artist grab it. So we'll get and ahead here. There's pieces, that Skottie and them have grabbed from you from previous auctions. So,
nope. I thought it was the next slide.
No, it's one we have to jump to, but it's just such a cool, and I like I said, last year was my first year, so that's all I had to go off of it. But it's just so big now. There's so many pieces and so much again variety, from small to big, but also just styles and the year gap between the artists as well. It just makes for such an awesome show.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I will always do. I always try to do a little bit of it before the convention just to have something kind of prepped up. And that's crazy that both of those are up.
And it is, I want to make sure it is the Mad Magazine one, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we knew the Popeye one. We weren't sure, but we were 95% sure it was the Alfred E. Newman.
It's like, I'm hoping I'm pointing to the right piece here. But no, I mean, that's so cool to be able to, and then that's what I love too is, like I said, just seeing other artists, buying other artists' work, not just, to help support the cause and, to bring awareness, but also just because it's like, hey, I love your work, just as much as maybe you love mine kind of a deal. So.
Yeah. I mean, when that Popeye sold, my commission prices went up. It was one of those, it was one of those
direct correlation.
Yeah. And Skottie like displayed it behind his booth.
Really?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I think that was 2021. I think is whenever I saw you had posted that it sold. So yeah, that was. I mean, man, that's quite a boost, especially for people that may not be familiar with you. Skottie's line, even though it may not have been what it was now back then, it was still a good sized line. So people seeing the eyes on them, it was that's incredible.
Yeah. So that was huge. We call it the Skottie Young Bump. And then the next year I did that Alfred E. Newman piece, and Skottie bought it again. Came around me, and I was like, "Oh, we're cool." It was one of those moments where I was like, "Oh, you bought this piece for me. That's nice." Then the next year he came around my neck, put his arm around my neck, and went, "You're making me buy another piece?" I was like, "Sorry, man."
That's wonderful.
There's probably an obscenity in there too.
Yeah. Oh, there was
100%.
It was great. Then the next piece, it was like, well, what do you do next?
Yeah.
The joke was that I would do Calvin and Hobbes. The third one, right?
Yeah.
Really, just go
reel
for
him in.
piece.
Yeah. The hook
that's a juggler there,
right? Like that was the progression of it was just target Skottie every year.
Yeah.
Definitely doesn't seem like you can go wrong that way.
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to find it. Tyler, where's he? Do you know what slide the other one? Because I wanted to highlight, since we're talking about the one that he actually did this year.
Oh, yeah, I can pull that up real quick.
Yeah, if you want to pull that up, because just so we can, because this one was really good. Then I wanted to be able to talk on it a little bit while we're on the subject. Yeah. The head size. Tyler put the head size in there for reference.
Yeah,
of
the
Yeah.
banana
how
for
massive that
scale
was.
reference. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Jamie
Yeah.
head for reference there. So
Yes. Yeah.
no,
And it
I
was
love
15 by
the
20.
silly goofy photos. So
Yeah. Yeah. Jamie's like, that was a professional photo. How dare you, sir? No. This one was really good. What prompted
Yes.
Archie this year?
Yeah.
Like, what brought that matter up?
I try to do something that just I'm interested in, and I think I've just been interested in. I've been reading a lot of Lil Abner, and Lil Abner is not going to sell. So like,
Yeah.
what's like tangential to Lil Abner, and Archie was a thing.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I just had the idea and wanted to play around with Archie and do that real classic Archie with the buck teeth and the weird hair thing, and then also again draw women, which and,
Women sell. Women sell.
yeah, and it's fun to draw, and anytime you
Yeah.
can get that big goofy. I'm a big fan of goofy guy, sexy woman. That dynamic.
The dynamic is
yeah.
really fun. Yeah.
I think it's always funny. And yeah, I don't know. I did it really quickly too. This painting, it just kind of
Really?
like ran. So yeah, I like sometimes things just come to you and you do them, and that's the way you do it. But,
Do you think about it leading up to Heroes Con, or is it just kind of like, when you get there, it's like, whatever I'm kind of just feeling, or whatever kind of comes to me in the moment leading up to it?
I'll start it before the show, but it's not a huge. It's not like terribly far in advance.
Yeah.
Right? Like maybe it's a week, maybe it's 2 weeks, but yeah, just to get stuff. It's so much easier to do it not at the convention. I always commend the guys who are up on the art stage doing stuff in record time. Like watching Brian Stelfreeze paint is incredible. A couple years ago, I got to sit next to Eric Powell as he was painting a Wolverine piece, and I was that's my brain. I'm a big Eric Powell fan, but it was just like, now I'm watching you do this. A big impetus for me starting to paint pieces was seeing what those guys were doing and trying to stand out among the guys who were just like masters, right?
Yeah.
So I started doing paintings just to be like, well, I'm not as good, but I can also add a painting. And if it's a painting that's 15 by 20, that's another thing. And that Popeye was the first painting that I did for Heroes. I had been painting covers and stuff, and that also gave me a big push to be doing that.
Yeah, I'm not going to live this one down, Jamie. When Skottie was up on stage painting, I was stuck in Adam Hughes' line. And what's worse, one of the group, there's a YouTuber that posts a lot of videos, and they actually posted Skottie, starting to paint, and he uses some swear words towards me for he says, "Where's Dustin?" And then that was pretty. I threw
you under the bus. So.
And Tyler's like, "Oh, he's over in Adam Hughes' line." I'm like, "Well, thanks a lot, man." But watching Skottie paint was really cool. But yeah, Stelfreeze, I've seen him up there on the stage before. That was really impressive. The guy that was beside Skottie 2 years ago, Martin Zau, it begins with a Z. I can't think of his last name. Forgive me, but he was painting, I believe, a Ghost Rider that was just insane. He was like,
the Ghost Rider airbrush one. Yeah, it was just wild to see that come together. No, I mean, and again, that's the cool, again, like you were comparing yourself painting wise, but gosh, your colors here are just looks so good. And and I love how it pops against like the white background, just the characters themselves bring all the life to the piece. And your poses and the colors. And it was so cool to like see you working on it. At one point, I think I walked up and was just watching you kind of work on it a little bit, but, no, I mean, it's cool that, that kind of got you into painting. You were like, hey, I've seen these other people do it, why not? Like, just go for it. And then, and obviously, it just goes from there. So,
and it works, Jamie. I mean, we're not going to allow you to put yourself down at all. Come on, give me some credit. These are great. These are masterpieces, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'm a big JC Leyendecker fan. So anything that's like remotely Saturday Evening Post, Leyendecker stuff, I'm always into. Actually, this past week, I went to the Brandywine Museum in Brandywine, Pennsylvania, to see the NC Wyeth. NC Wyeth's home is in Brandywine, and big NC Wyeth fan, and got to go there and see a bunch of his paintings and Andrew Wyeth's stuff, and it was one of the most inspirational things. I just got done, and I was like, "Oh, I want to paint more now." So
that's always the best feeling. I mean, and that's what's so cool about Heroes. Again, just going there and seeing that, just the inspiration of just, and I'm so glad that whether or not you like doing it, being able to watch people do it live, or even just like yourself doing it before, but then still presenting it and just getting to walk along that wall and just see artists. And like you said, whether it's your first piece, it's your 40th, whether it sells for 200 or 20 K, whatever it is, it's just to be among all of that. I'm sure is an absolute blast. So.
Yeah, and whether someone can afford to actually buy the piece at the time, at least they're no. I'm saying there's so many eyes in that room looking at your art, and they may have blew all their budget, present company included at the time, but they'll remember you next year and be like, I'm going to get a pre-commission from him. I'm going to go up and meet him, and we'll buy a book from him. And I mean, you can't. That word of mouth is priceless whenever you try to, apply it to your future art sales.
Yeah, it's really. It's one of those things where it's trying to explain it to younger artists who are coming in, and having been in Savannah for so long and talking to a bunch of SCAD students, I always tell them, I'm like, you got to do the art auction. It is the thing you need to do. And they will say, oh, I don't know. I'm like, well, so this is how my career has worked.
Yeah.
Because I did this art auction the first time I went, and it's grown from that. And yeah, it's really just, you do it Saturday night, Sunday, people will come up and talk to you. And especially if it does something crazy, there is the luck aspect of Skottie Young buying your piece and being like,
yeah,
Jamie.
Not everybody can say that happened to them.
Yeah. It's so like I'm a big fan of that. Luck is the product of when preparation and readiness come together, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I was ready. I was at that point. I was like, okay, cool. Like I can keep up with this. I had a bunch of books to sell. The Baboon was out, right? Like I had a product. If it happened beforehand, I don't know if it would have been as meaningful. But
right.
No, and it's one of those things too. You just never know unless you take the chance, and that's the thing, is, and that's one of the things I love listening to Skottie or even yourself. It's especially being self-published and being a comic artist. I'm sure it's all about risk taking. It's all about just putting yourself out there, because it's like you're either going to do it or you're not, and like or I think it was somebody else. So, you got to get people to come to your booth. Like you got to go to them, kind of a deal. Like if you want to get people interested, you can't just sit there and, hope, because it's just not going to happen. Like you got to get out there and talk and kind of become uncomfortable. But that's where a lot of growth happens. And it's so much easier said than done. As somebody who likes being really comfortable and, doesn't like being uncomfortable with my art and everything. But, no, yeah, for sure.
It's weird having to sell stuff. It's just, it is an uncomfortable thing. I don't care if you're, a super famous artist or a guy just with his first book at that convention. It's one of those things where it's uncomfortable. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. And it will never not be, right? You're presenting. It's like presenting yourself in a weird way and being like, "Hey, my stuff's worth it."
And the fact you may have 10 people come up and only 2 of them buy something. So you get in your mind, you're thinking, these other 8 people, is there something that I need to change? Is there something I need to do different? So that has to be an odd feeling.
Yeah. And just like throwing spaghetti at a wall and seeing until something sticks, right? It's one of those things. Wizard Cowboy, putting that on a cover, I guess last year was the first year the first Spacow came out, and people just came up and were like, Wizard Cowboy, what's this? It's like, I've been here for 10 years. I've been doing this convention. I think that's the thing. So it's playing. I tell people all the time, there's comics is not it's not a persistence game. It's kind of a belligerence game.
Yeah.
Where it's just, you're gonna, or can you just keep going?
Yeah, can you just knucklehead it? Yeah, just
yeah.
No, for sure. Well, and we're absolutely glad that you did. So,
Absolutely.
Speaking of belligerence, here's Dodger. Yeah.
So Dodger was written by. Oh man, I had the name. I wrote the name down. And I left it at work. And I believe if you go to the Gumroad and look, is the writer?
Trace Dean.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. So how did you and him come up with this storyline, or was this something you pitched or he pitched, or?
Gosh, Trace and I met at my first Heroes Con. Frank Barberi of Five Ghosts. He's got a new book coming out through Image with Morgan Beam right now. Which is great. I've read the first 2 issues. Good
Morgan's
stuff.
work, yeah.
Frank introduced us and was like, "You guys are new." I think it was Trace's first convention. It was my first Heroes Con, and Trace was like, "I'm trying to be a writer." Trace now writes for like GQ and all of these fashion things, and is much more cultured than any of us are. Anybody, one man should be. Knows things about watches. And
I like it.
That's a good description. I like that.
Yeah. But we started doing this book, and it was what we used for portfolios, because we wanted to be able to sell the thing that we were pitching, or not pitching, but pitching ourselves for like portfolio reviews for Marvel and DC and stuff like that, which was still at this point very much the mindset of getting into the industry, was not self-publishing. Even though we did pages and pages of self-publishing, all of this stuff was used to sell ourselves and try to figure out learn on the job and learn as we were doing stuff. So yeah.
Jerry had a good Dickens pun, so I had to put that down there at the bottom. Can never get too much Charles Dickens, so we're all for this. Let's see what we got.
It's I told him it's the Home Improvement. It's the
Well, that's why when Jamie first came on, I moved him to the middle so we wouldn't be blocking him whenever we put up any banners or anything. So, but yeah, some of these and Frank, you said Barberi. And the crazy thing about it is I did not know how to say his last name. And I went and Googled, like YouTubed a review of him, and the person pronounced his name was Barbieri. And I was like, man, I had to write it. I had to like spell it out. And then I heard you say it because I know you and him are close, like our friends.
Yeah, we're very close. Yeah.
I was like, crap. I had to like rewrite the name down and scratch it up. But yeah, he gave such a glowing review for Dodger. And whenever I saw that name, and Tyler, this is one that you didn't see the slide, but I had this connection from like Charlie Day. I was like, oh, Jamie was involved with Five Ghosts because I remember reading Five Ghosts.
Oh,
like when it first came. Yeah, Fabian Gray. Yeah, and for anyone that doesn't kind of know Fabian Gray, I think was the character's name, can like channel the ghost of. I'm gonna try this. You may have to help me, Jamie. But the wizard, I'll say the name: Merlin, Sherlock, Robin Hood, Dracula, and I can never think of the samurai.
It's Musashi Miyamoto, I believe.
Yeah, you said it so much better than I would have butchered it. But they never mention them by names. But it's kind of like the wizard, the detective, the vampire. But it's such cool. He can summon those and use them as kind of his superpower. But it was a kind of a pulp book that was written, and it was so entertaining. And as soon as I saw you were connected to Frank Barberi, I was like, oh my gosh, okay, so I can see. It's like everything started to make sense. I was like, your Pulptober that we're going to talk about later, like your style. I was like, I could see you and him like just melding into a perfect mix.
Oh, dude, I did. So I met him at my first Heroes Con as well. Heroes Con. This is one of those things.
Yeah, this is
it always comes
reoccurring theme.
Yeah. Just for. I probably met them at Heroes Con. That's probably what. That's probably the.
Go to Heroes Con.
His partner Lauren Affey, who is a colorist, didn't want to sit at their table, so they had a table. Frank and Lauren had a table next to them that was unused, and I was all the way in like the 200s area of the convention, and I had done Frank had done Solar Man of the Atom for Dynamite when there was this new like King Features rollout of every book. Heroes Haven did exclusive variant covers, shop variant covers for Solar and Magnus Robot Fighter and Turok and all of those guys. And I just so happened to do the Solar one, which Frank just so happened to write. And I had messaged Frank, I think on like Twitter, and I was like, "Oh, hey, like I did this book and I would love to give it to you. I saw you're going to be at HeroesCon." And he was like, "Oh yeah, that'd be great." So I gave him a copy, and we just started talking. He was like, "Do you want to sit next to me at the show?" So I moved my entire setup and
Oh wow.
Went and sat next to Frank,
Awesome.
and we just hung out for the entire weekend. And that turned into doing a Five Ghosts variant cover, which at the time was like the biggest thing I had ever done.
Yeah.
It was huge. Five Ghosts was my favorite comic coming out at the time. It was a massive deal, and that then led to me doing a backup story for Five Ghost Annual, and that was like the last Five Ghost book that ever came out. So
Oh no.
there were talks about Frank and I maybe doing because Chris Mooneyham was
Yeah, he's like doing GI Joe. Yeah,
dude, gosh, Chris is so good. But there was talks of like Chris leaving the book and then maybe doing a spin-off book, which I would never happen now. But like we were talking about maybe doing an Adventures of Five Ghosts, which was just like a Batman the Animated Series version of Five Ghosts.
Oh gosh,
that I was going to draw, which was wild, which was a weird pitch. But then, that fell through, and then years later, Frank had a book called Violent Love that I did backup stories for. It was called A Constant Distraction. Very Eisner-y. Ryan Ferrer was the writer of it. This is the backup story for Five Ghosts.
Yes. I bought this last night and read it just so I could get more, kind of insight into that. But yeah, because I knowing some of the Pulptober images we're going to talk about later, I was like, I want to see kind of your take on the different Ghost, and I mean, you would have been a natural fit for this book had it continued in some form or fashion. So
yeah, it was super fun. It's just he is. This book was great. Gosh, this book is great. Go and read Five Ghosts.
Yeah, Five Ghosts.
I was unaware before the show about it, so I'm glad to see it's on Comixology. So I'll definitely be diving into this. So
yeah, it is one of my favorite comics of all time. It's so much fun to read. It reads pretty quick and has some dense moments. And it starts Chris Mooneyham's career.
Yes,
it's like his first big book, and it's just, I think it's Frank's first book, a wild first book for two people.
Yeah, that's just beginner's luck. I mean, it was so because Felix Comic Art represented Mooneyham at the time, and some of the art that he was putting out for Five Ghost, I would try to get, and I would get the dreaded, "Sorry, this page has already been taken," or "Sorry, this cover's already been taken," because it was so hot. Like Jamie's saying, it was, but it's the story content and the story. If you liked Five Ghosts, then much of the stuff that we're showing tonight, go check out Jamie's shop, because I mean, like I said, your storytelling is so reminiscent of this, different stories obviously, but I can see kind of how Frank would have taken a liking to you, because you all seem to me like kindred spirits whenever
we have very similar sensibilities for sure.
Oh yeah, this was in one of my deep dives. I read this review from Mike Wagner of you.
Man.
And this was such a good review. I was like, anybody can pause the screen right now if you're watching the replay and read this, because as I was reading, I was like, this dude loves Jamie. This one, this. So it's a very, talking about blushing. I was like, man, if Jamie read this, I'm sure he was full red. But yeah, the deep space, he referenced this. That's why I brought this comment. But deep space tragedy are all dead. So this kind of jumps back to 2015. And I meant to ask you, what was the first comic cover that you did?
Oh, that would have been the Solar Man of the Atom.
The Solar. Okay, so that was the one that you referenced earlier. Okay, I didn't know how these predated, because, like Tyler said, some of the dates that we saw on these were kind of, the reviews were coming at a later year than what the book was actually released in. So it was really fascinating though to see the trajectory of your career as kind of over 3 days, 10 years in 3 days was really a lot of fun.
I appreciate the diligence.
Yeah, the restraining orders will be going out tomorrow.
We're not hot ones, but we try our best. So
yeah.
What's crazy about Mike, going back to Deep Space Tragedy, I had known Mike. Mike lives or used to live in Orlando. I think he does something. He works for one of the companies now, or like is one of the heads of the companies that like make stuff for Universal, which is cool. But anyway, I had met Mike because my brother followed him on DeviantArt, and Matthew was 13 or 14, and we went to a MegaCon when MegaCon wasn't as like when it wasn't crazy.
Yeah,
we went to MegaCon. And we met Mike, and Mike was maybe in his early 20s, I want to say, maybe a little older. And we just formed this kind of friendship with this really young kids and this older guy. And he was just like super sweet and super nice. Yeah. Cosmic Times still exists. Martin, who is the publisher and editor, we see each other at every convention now. But Mike, man, they were like, who do you want to do a variant cover? And he was like, I want Jamie to do a variant cover for this book. And I was not at all professional at this point. It was like really, really early. And yeah, Mike has been around in my life for over half my life now, just in some capacity or another. And he got me this gig on his book, which is crazy.
That's so cool.
That is. And we go from the books here to the artwork, Babe Ruth cans. So I'm not I don't drink. Tyler's usually drinking an adult beverage the whole time we're talking, and I've never drank alcohol in my life, so I'm not familiar with Babe Brewing. Was that a local beer, or is that a
81 Bay was in Tampa. They contacted me through another artist who was doing their like really high ABV stouts and dark beers for bottles. They were looking for new can art, and that other artist was like, "Oh, you should get this guy who does cartoons for your cans." And this was my job. This was one of my jobs over COVID, was redesigning all of their cans. It was super fun. I think I did like 13 cans.
Oh wow!
Oh wow! Did you? I mean, do you keep them all? Do you have like a?
I do.
Cans
I do have.
I would. Yeah.
Are they filled still enclosed, or did you empty them? Or
I emptied them. Yeah.
Okay.
I emptied them and cleaned them out. Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
It's funny. My girlfriend was helping me pack up some stuff, and she was looking and she was like, "Oh yeah, are these just beers that you like?" And I looked at her and I was like, "No, these are all my beer cans that I designed." And she was like, "Oh, we'd been dating for a year at this point, and she's been to my house countless times, and was just like, just thought it was beer you liked. Didn't even make
didn't connect. The art, like, oh yeah, now that I look at it again, Yeah, we did that. We did that with the Game of Thrones back when Game of Thrones was super big and great. We bought like the big bottles they came. I think they're still closed. We never opened them or drank them or anything, but they're just like
Yeah.
up on the wall, the dragons and everything.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's just something to have fun about collecting. Yeah, that's super cool. See all those cans there.
Oh, and thank you, Jamie. Jamie sent us PDF copies of these to look at today, and I was able to, during my lunchtime, I was able to read that. And the Paperboy, that was such a fascinating story, and I won't try to butcher it, but can you kind of explain the panel, the way you did the panels for Inktober for that one?
I did a third of a page a day.
Okay.
That was how I did it. So it was, just inking a third of a page a day, only doing a third of a page a day, not any more, not any less. I've done that a couple times. Some baboon stuff has been done for over Inktober, and it's always just a third of a page a day. You end up with a 10-page comic and a cover if you do that for every day in October. So it's really it's real easy to get done, to get something out and show.
Were you ever tempted to, like, I mean, you got to the panel and you had your next idea. Were you ever tempted to start on the other panel, or is this like, I got to do a hard stop here?
Doing it when you're doing other things is really great.
There's no chance to.
Yeah.
But you had said 30 days for that. I'd wonder where the 31st day come in, but the cover, that makes sense. Now I missed that completely, but.
And it's cool too because I was going to say it's similar to Derek Loffman, who also did a comic during Inktober, and I really like that idea. I mean, it's such a, I'm sure, very stressful trying to pull together an entire comic, in 1 month kind of a deal versus just one-off drawings. But it's such a cool endeavor, I imagine.
It's harder to do one-off drawings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's so much easier to just do I'm going to draw a clock with a knife through it. Like that's, and not knowing what's going to come next is fine. It's just it's a writing exercise, really.
No, so you didn't have a storyline or anything when you did this. It's just going in cold.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Interesting.
Very
cool. Yeah.
It's challenging too, and the story flowed really well together too. I would have thought it was. So you pulled it off. You were able to.
That's a magical thing.
Yeah. But yeah, and Tyler, man, that mask is going to kill you by the time the end of the show's over with. I keep seeing him pick at his like that, so he'll have to
just lose. Like it nudges up, and then I can't see, and I'm like, no, I need to be able to see everything. So.
Oh man, and the Whisper is another. I mean, the concepts that you're pulling out for these different stories and the way you're doing them. There's 6 different writers, 1 artist. You being the artist and you being one of the 6 writers. Was that challenging at all, getting the scripts from the 5 different writers that presented to you?
One of the reasons this doesn't exist anymore is because getting writers is miserable. It's like herding cats, right? To get anybody to do anything.
All right.
Luckily, the people who are on this first issue, right? There's Trace Dean, who we had done Dodger together, and then Frank Barberi, who I was just able to coerce into doing something. Ryan Williams is one of my best friends from college. I am Jamie Jones, and Vita Ayala is
same Jamie Jones. Okay.
Yeah. Vita Ayala, who is a writer, comics writer extraordinaire, is one of my closest friends in comics. Regardless, I talk to them all the time. We work on stuff all the time. They have been the editor for the Baboon for the since the first volume. So, they're a writer, but they're also, I mean, they wrote New Mutants, like when Hickman was doing X-Men. Yeah, they did the Static Shock book recently that came out. Yeah, just a bunch of really great stuff. So yeah, Vita and I are constantly working on stuff, trying to figure out more things to do together.
Oh, that's cool.
Tyler,
my white box, man, you moved it down a little bit. I was trying to cover up any Nazi propaganda.
Oh, is that what you were doing? Oh, I didn't realize there was any intention to them. Yeah,
that's why if Jamie sees a floating white box, that's what that was for. It was supposed to. Yeah, we moved it down just slightly. All right, we'll go on to the We'll go on to the baboon.
Well, I was going to say
do
just
you want to
talk
go
about
back?
it to go back, but I loved your explanation for the Whisper, like the fact that it's a love letter to, just comics in the industry and the the differences when you change, have the same character but having a different writer and how that changes in the legacy, as it says there, that time span of having somebody kind of evolve and adapt. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to. I didn't get a chance to read either of these two, but I'm really looking forward to them.
The conceit for the Whisper was the everything is done in a different time period, so it's the same. The character is the Whisper, but it's a different character as the Whisper every story, and that was my big aha, like I can play with the trope and do a thing. I'm obsessed with Legacy. My favorite Flash is Jay Garrick. I love the Flashes because there's 5 of them, right?
Yeah.
Like that's something I'm always really interested in, and that's kind of, we can go to the next slide. That is what the baboon is about. About
Nice
legacy
segue.
and passing the mask off, and in the daily strips we get like backstory on the baboon, and Barton Marlowe Jr. specifically, he is a junior because his father was the first baboon. So we have, like, he is not the first baboon. There's more people, and the overall story is Jamie, the sidekick, becoming the baboon. That's kind of where, big meta narrative, what we're trying to work towards is that moment. Yeah.
No, and then in these comics, I picked up both of these along with the Spakow, and these were just such great reads. It was so fun this time coming back from Heroes because I had so much to read. Like I got like a comic from Cullum, I had Sunder, I had your stuff to read, so it was just kind of like going through each and every single one. These were great. I love too. I wanted to show off the cool. Dude, as I was trying to bring up the link, you can get these through the site, and I believe you can also upgrade to get the sketch on the inside. So if you haven't picked these up, again, I'm always for paying more, getting the sketch out of it, because it just makes it so cool and
it's $50 on the site. It's a bargain for what you're getting in the book and the sketch. So yeah, definitely recommend going to Jamie's Big Cartel site and picking it up.
No, these were great, and getting to read into Spakow and then continue his story. It's and I saw too that a lot of the stuff for at least the newer one was crowdfunded. So I know I'm definitely now on like the lookout for like following your stuff now. Like, okay, when's the next one that I can get in on now? So
thanks. The third baboon book is done. It's a collection of all the short stories that I've done in between 1 and 2, and it's over 150 pages, I think. Like it's going to be a thicker book, and it's cool. I did a 24-hour comic, like the way you're supposed to do a 24-hour comic. I did 24 pages in 24 hours.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
It was right after I had done the educational comic too. So it was one of those things that was like, I'm doing it. Thought I was going to be dead, but I was working these wild hours for this educational comic towards the end of it that I just timed it correctly for the baboon book, and it came out. I was done. I had a whole hour off. I took a nap and I had a whole hour.
Wow.
And, I was like, oh, I'm done. This is wild. But yeah, spent I think a couple hours just like planning it out and then drawing. But yeah, it's got that. It's got a bunch of these little mini comics that I've done for the baboon, and just little short stories. Whenever I do something for, I was an artist in residence at Neighborhood Comics in Savannah, and they asked for like little 4-pagers, and drew a little 4-pager for it instead of instead of just like throwing in some baboon pages. I was like, oh, I'll draw a baboon strip,
Yeah.
Just a 4-page strip. So like all of the things that I've done, just collecting them together and putting them out. And now that I've done like 4 issues of Spakal, I kind of have figured out formatting
Yeah.
and getting everything together.
It's
So
a
nice.
it's a baboon buffet is what you'd call it.
oh yeah,
Buffet of
that's
baboon.
that might be what it's called. now that you said, I
Oh,
was going to do
that's good,
something
Tyler.
lame like this comic and other stories, but
That would make me
Baboon
so
buffet.
happy.
Yes.
No, I mean it's again, it's just go check this stuff out. I was funny enough, I was flipping through it or I had them on my stack, so I wanted to reread them again just to get my mindset around your work this morning. And my wife was watching me flip through and was just like, "Holy cow!" Like she was like, "That art is just gorgeous." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, there's a reason why we're having him on tonight, and it's not Skottie related is what started it, getting to your booth and having us, but it's like, you're
Yeah.
here because of your art and your comics. And I mean, I mean, like I said, there's just such fun stories. And again, like we talked about earlier, just growing up with kind of, similar movies and, in that era, and having your parents, introduce you to kind of characters like this and stuff. It was just such a blast to read this stuff. So yeah, I can't wait. I definitely looking forward to another installation of Baboon. So
yeah, thanks. It's one of those things that I'm always I take breaks from every now and then and come back and do something more, and then I take another break. I've been writing the 4th book in between other projects and doing stuff, and figuring out where that's going to go. Do I put it in Spakal first? Do I just launch a Kickstarter for the hardcover? That kind of thing. It's always a juggling act to figure out where you're going, and how we were talking earlier where it's a job of pivots, right?
Yeah.
The entire job is just pivoting.
Yeah.
And figuring out what it was. I have a buddy running a Kickstarter right now, so I'm kind of curious what the Kickstarter landscape is
Yeah.
currently. Yeah, it's great. I mean, doing this kind of stuff is always. The Baboon is a book that I want to do 10 volumes of. That's the goal. 10 volumes. And do it. However, every 3 issues or every 3 books is a compilation of stories, and then I've got them all planned, so I know kind of the trajectory of where we're going and what we're doing. But yeah, it's super fun. And now with Spakal, I mean, I do guest art stories, and it's all begrudgingly called the Babooniverse.
I was going to mention
like
that.
that.
Yeah,
I like
and listening to the other interviews, I know how much you cringe.
That's a Vida Ayala coined that. They were like, "Oh yeah, it's called the Babooniverse."
It's like,
And I was
no, it's not.
I don't like it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's and that's so interesting too. You bringing up Spakal, and I imagine that's so interesting how it kind of started on its own, but then also filtering it or putting it through your Spakal comics, and like you said, balancing and juggling of where you want people to read it, because and telling those stories. And I'm assuming it's not necessarily a one-off, because I mean your stories you're telling through Spakal, it continues from Spakal 1 to Spakal 2 and Spakal 3 and 4, so on. But how that fits into the larger Baboon verse, the larger Baboon story,
Yeah.
of fitting that into a book. So I'm kind of curious. You talked about juggling it, but how difficult does that kind of get? Now that you're kind of balancing, both Spakal and the Baboon.
Yeah, it's now my mindset for everything right now is kind of just Spakal. Everything's Spakal, which makes it a lot easier to kind of think about.
Yeah.
And whether it's, I don't think I would do a Baboon book. I don't think I would start soliciting a Baboon book in Spakal unless it was done right. So 64 pages is the next Baboon book, and I don't broken up over 3 issues, right? I don't think I would do it unless it was completely done.
Yeah.
At that point, you're, maybe the market's terribly different in a year, but that is ready to go. So it's having something that you're kind of banking to see if I run a Kickstarter or if I just put it in Spacao, seeing where it lands. It's a weird way to me, it feels weird to work that way.
Yeah.
I think I'm built for strips more than I'm
Mm.
built for comics and doubly so graphic novel length stuff. But the kind of like immediate, I'm putting something out and people get to see it, fuels me in a way. So like sitting on something that's 64 pages just to see like where it fits.
Hopefully, yeah.
That's all new to me.
Yeah.
Right now.
No,
And
that's
this is the Wizard
yeah.
Cowboy that Jamie was referencing earlier, just in case anybody missed that. So
Yes.
Yeah, so good. I love the robot that I got, but I do kind of lament not getting the Wizard Cowboy. It was between the two of them for the head sketch, but yeah, it's one of my personal favorites. It's just one of those things you're like, that just works. Like you said, Wizard Cowboy. It's just like, man, it just works. Like,
it's wild to me that that Wizard Cowboy is a thing, and it became a thing. I'm currently reading a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. I've just been reading Mark Twain all year. That's been my.
We see the trend.
Twain on the brain, yeah.
But reading that book is giving me so much fuel for more Spacao stories. I recently posted on my Instagram stories. I have a collection of the book that has all of the original drawings in it, and one of them is a knight with a corncob pipe sticking out of his vent.
The vent, yeah.
And he talks about how people think he's a fire-breathing dragon when he's riding on his horse, and it's like, this is what Wizard Cowboy is.
Yeah.
He calls all of the knights cowboys, right? That's what he calls them in the book, and it just kind of made so much sense that I'm now like, okay, there's a knight called Smokestack, and he has a pipe sticking out of his mask, and that's what he is, and he looks like a giant smokestack, and it's like little things like that constantly are fueling the next thing and the next move.
No, I mean it's super cool, and and that's, I love that this is out there, and again, like, you can get this stuff off the site right now. I highly suggest it. The new one, which is on the very far right there, issue number 5. I know you're currently in the middle of working on. That's kind of like the work in progress cover. But yeah, I mean, it's just the stories you're telling and the art, and getting the artists on it, and again, it's just so fun to be able to. Because I won't use the word nostalgia, but the feeling it takes of being a kid and just being able to read, Wizard Cowboy, and then about, Piston Bottle Rocket, and just jumping between these worlds. I mean, again, that's what was so fun. That's where your mind is at as a kid, is the imagination is, there's no bounds. And like you said, you're very well suited for this storytelling of these, these chunks of stories that you get to bite into. So.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the beginning of the conversation, just drawing like you draw in your sketchbook. It's drawing stuff that I just want to draw. Each issue kind of has a different feel and a different kind of weight to it. Issue 3 has the Ill-Fated Darling story in it, which is just me wanting to do a like straight Silver Age comics kind of character, and that has turned into, like, I've got so much stuff for what that world is that I could just go and turn it into another full-length book. And then with issue 4, I had this idea for this character, Bare Knuckle John, and wanted to do something with that, and it is kind of the biggest diversion from everything else that I've done. It's a little more serious in tone. It's a little more adult in tone. And it was one of those things where I knew I wanted to do it. I knew it was about 20 pages, and I didn't know where it was going to fit in what I was doing. And having conversations with people about what Spacao was, I went, oh, maybe it just goes in Spacao. Maybe that's what the book is.
Yeah.
I think the write-up in the beginning of the book is very much like, this is a very different kind of comic than the other 3 issues, but that's what you signed up for. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's,
No, I mean it's one of those things, pun intended. You took a big swing, but I mean that story was such a big swing. I mean it's again, it's one of the things I love. Since we are Skottie talking about Skottie, it's the fact that he can go from doing I Hate Fairyland, this girl trapped in this world, and she hates it and murder and violence, but then to write something like Middle West that just made me cry and break down. It was just so moving.
Yeah.
And it was that same kind of deal here where, I heard about the character and I saw it on your, you sharing it, this character, and reading number 4 there and building up to it, reading this stories I've already was familiar with, but then getting to that one and then just that diversion, both with the art, but the story as well, was just, it was almost like your breath kind of stopped and you're just reading, and like at the end you're like, oh, I'm holding my breath without even realizing it. But it was just such a beautiful story, both, like I said, story wise and art wise, and yeah, I mean it's it's one of those things where sorry if you got into it thinking this is going to be anything specific. I mean that's what I love about it, is being able to not know. I mean being able to dive in and jump in and go, what's new or what's what's the same, and I can't wait to just. It's just an adventure. I mean, that's really what it is, an adventure.
It started as something that was literally just a guy in a boxing match with the devil, right? That was, I was like, oh, that's going to be fun. That's great. How do you turn that into a full-length book? And it kind of became this weird thing about religion.
Yeah.
I was like not prepared for.
Yeah.
It was just, it worked. It also kind of came about, I hand lettered the entire thing, which I typically don't do.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Font. And just the practice of hand lettering, it's also drawn bigger than anything I draw on.
Yeah.
It's drawn like a full, I think 14 by 11 pieces of paper. They're massive.
Wow. Yeah.
They're massive drawings. And it's one of those things where it's just like, super fun to do, different working method, different style, and it worked. And then I painted the cover in like a day.
Oh, wow.
So it just kind of, it was one of those things that just kind of channeled out of you. And it was great. It was super fun to do. And now I'm doing like issue 5 is back to Wizard Cowboy stuff, right? Like,
and again, I love that stuff just as much, and yeah, I mean, I can't, I really hope, and there's on your Substack, you obviously talked about, the difficulties you ran into after Heroes of printing and prices going up and choosing to go black and white and stuff. But, I really am looking forward to Spacal continuing, as long as you're interested in doing it. So.
It also looks very good in black and white. I am here to tell you, I got books back. They look very good in black and white.
That's awesome. Yeah.
The Baboon Daily strip, looks better in black and white.
Really?
It is crazy to me. Did not think that was going to be the case.
Yeah.
It looks better.
Yeah.
So there's little things. Issue 2 and issue 3, I still haven't finagled and gotten done. But issue 1 has a new reprinting with the black and white, and issue 4 has a new reprinting with the black and white. So,
well, just listen to Tyler talk about it. I haven't read it yet, but now like I'm going to have to read it tonight because these stories sounding. I mean, where are these available? Because I didn't see these in the store. Where's the proper place to get these at?
They are all through Power Pulp. Right.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say Power.
I want to make sure and put up the right banner because here, thank you, Tyler. Because hearing Tyler describe them, I was like drooling over here. I mean, these sound like really fun stories to take to read. So
they're fun. They've got some thought pieces. I know Tyler keeps dancing around nostalgia. In the first issue, I have a whole article. It's titled "Nostalgia is Dead, Death to Nostalgia,"
okay.
And because I kind of react to anything that is noted as nostalgia.
Yeah.
So and that's what that article's about. Is I feel like nostalgia is a very personal thing, and to say that something is nostalgic has is putting on a like your personal feelings towards something on something else. So I'm try not to use nostalgia nostalgic as a description for my work. I try to say like I am making pulp comics. Pulp is and trying to make something along the same line as the guys that I really love, right? So like I love Johnny Hazard. I love Frank Robbins. I want to make something that would stand next to that strip in a newspaper, right? I don't want to play upon the tropes in a way that's like tongue in cheek or winking at. Right. Venture Brothers is a fantastic show. They are winking the entire time they're doing it. And that's
very much on the nose.
And that's what the show is. And I think a lot of times pulp stuff now gets winky. I think the best example of not winky is Sky Captain of the World of Tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. I love that movie so freaking much. I've been wanting to rewatch it so badly.
Such a good movie. Guess what? Completely holds up. Not winky. It doesn't. It plays it straight. I think also the Disney Atlantis movie holds up the same way, where they're playing with the tropes of things for a modern audience in a way that really helps. Like the storytelling is a modern or a contemporary story.
Yes.
But you're playing with the tropes of these characters and where they fit, and the social dynamics are kind of similar. Things in the Baboon that are extremely tropey, right? He has you have to have a sidekick, or you have to have like your best friend.
Your team.
And typically, if it's a white guy, if he's got a black best friend, that is a trope kind of the genre of like the action adventure genre. Well, then how do you subvert that, right? So you're not just doing what is his name, Prince Zartan from Mandrake the Magician, right? Who's like Zoltar.
Zoltar, yes.
He's this prince who is like an indebted servant to Mandrake. It is a weird dynamic. He's a cool character in this weird setting, or in this weird for specifically 2025, right? It's a weird thing to have. So it's like, how do you play with the trope and still make it for a modern audience? Well, Clayton's one of my favorite characters now, right? Like he collects art. He is the guy who does all the taxes. He is the money man for all of the Baboon. In the second arc of the Daily Strip, he is the Baboon. He puts on the mask, and it's like, that's also another trope, right? Cap becomes Sam Wilson becomes Cap. It's playing with the tropes in ways that still allow for that modern storytelling and just adjusting stuff. There's a reason there are no Nazis in the Baboon. They have guys who are like, well, here are the German guys, right? But it's specifically devoid of time. You can still have a red phone that lights up for people to talk to, and you have rockets and modern cars and modern schools and that kind of stuff. It just plays around with all of the things that you can play around with, right? The red phone is a trope. It might be the most fun trope
it is
to play with, but it's like figuring out little things and then kind of subverting the expectation of what the trope is, and not naming anything too close to something that's in our world, right? They go to the South America in the second book, and there was I had a whole thing about like Mayan culture and all of this stuff. And after a long conversation with Vita, the editor, they were like, well, you can just have it be another secret culture that's
Yeah.
there. And I went,
Yeah.
and immediately went, oh, that's so much better. I don't have to, I can kind of step away from
Yeah.
the
Behold yourself. Yeah.
the things that make some of Tintin problematic, right? Like
Mm.
it still works, but because it's working in a way that is historic, quote unquote, it
Yeah.
it ages it in certain times. Uh, it's like how like seeing a CD player in a movie now. You go, oh, this is
Yeah.
set in this time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Stranger Things constantly is like, this is a movie in the 80s. This
Dating
is a TV show.
themselves. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
80s, 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 80s. And it's,
Right.
I don't know. I think that gets in the way of like what you can do when you start like playing with specific time. Um, it comes with its benefits and it
Yeah.
comes with its detriments. I
Well,
tried
and
to
I like
stay away
the.
from it.
No, sorry. I was just gonna say I like the way you said it in a different interview. You said not a modern twist, but a modern sensibility. And I thought
Oh,
that was such a
gotcha.
great
Oh wow, that's good.
line of saying that. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, that's just
Yeah, that's brilliant.
summarizes, that
I like that.
whole
Wow.
thing. So
Ask Jamie really knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well
that's
said.
exactly what it is. It's yeah, trying to use the old tropes with a modern sensibility is a better. That's the quick version of what I just tried
you
to
said
say.
it. I'm just giving it back to you.
No, we like the elaborated version. Yeah, and I just realized we're about to hit the 2 hour mark, and we have about 15 slides left. So Jamie, I'm being serious, man. If you have to go, we're good. But yeah, we'll talk as long as you've got time for. But this is something that you had talked about. Whenever you were talking about like the flowing, I'm gonna butcher the dude's name, the Scarlet Pimpernel.
Pimpernel?
Yeah, Pimpernel. I wanted to say it correctly, but I liked that one. I mean, you did such a great job during the. Were you able to do all 31 for
I did
Pulptober?
all 31 of these.
You
Yeah.
did all 31. Okay.
Wow, that's
But
awesome.
yeah, but some of these are really good. And for anybody still interested in them, Jamie still has 5 of them up in his shop that you
Oh, I
can
have
get a hold
so
of.
much more than 5.
Oh, okay. So never
If there's
mind.
anything that you are interested in, go back on the Instagram
Yeah.
and sling through. I think I've just only uploaded 5 in
Okay.
my
Well,
spare time. Yeah.
well, these are really good ones too, because this had. I mean, you had Han Solo. Good Lord, Indiana Jones. It was a rough day at work today. This is getting Indiana Jones, the Phantom, Doc Savage. Uh, oh gosh, my mind's went blank up there, at the top left hand corner. Help me out. The Shadow.
Yeah,
I kept on wanting to say the Whisper, and I knew that was not correct because that's your character. But then I mean these are all available. If you see any on Jamie's Instagram, please hit them up because these were well worth.
I still
one
have my
put in.
eye on the hook piece that I was going for before I got the Duncan
yeah.
commission. I was like, oh, that one is it's just so good.
Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate the help there. I'm struggling here right now. So, all right, we went over this one already, but this is something that to circle back to Heroes.
Yeah.
Our buddy Alfredo had picked up the Gert, and he was also wearing one of these stupid fresh mess hats as he came over there. And once again, that's the first time we'd met Alfredo was at Heroes, and he had just recently joined the Skottie Young Appreciation Group on Facebook. But he had commissioned a Gert, and he gifted this to Skottie and Megan there at the Stupid Fresh Mess table. And Tyler commissioned a Duncan to follow up with that.
Yeah.
And he gifted this to Tyler. You did not?
Yeah, I gifted it to myself. I was like, sorry, Skottie. You get one, you don't get both.
That's right. But Jamie, it was very kind of you. I mean, you put a note in one of your Substacks about the Skottie Young group, the Stupid Fresh Mess gang. So I'm glad you noticed that, we did have an appreciation for your art there. And hopefully the commissions that came in that we're about to see a few of kind of show our appreciation for you as well.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're constantly trying to find the audience, and Skottie has the best fans. I think that's
we're biased, but we agree with that.
I think it's one of those things. I was talking to a bunch of people at the show, and I was just like, I'm good. I think if I can, let's continue with the Skottie Young fans. I'll be good for the rest of my career. Yeah, I know it's one of those things. It's just this was the most commissions I think I've ever done at a convention.
Oh, cool.
I was constantly working, and yeah, these are just like, well, you say this.
I know,
Ah,
yeah.
I had to put
Foreshadow.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
No.
I mean, these commissions came through, and I was excited to do them and happy to do them. It was one of those things where sometimes you get a commission, you're like, all right, how do I make this work? And then anything that's Skottie has character designed is really easy. Like it fits.
Yeah.
I think I just know where he's pulling his sensibilities from,
Yeah.
and so it makes it fun to do.
No, that's awesome, man. And that's, one of my favorite things was, I mean, that's how I found Anderson Carmen was Skottie, because they were sitting next to each other. And then he was like, yeah, Anderson's been, coloring some of my work. And then I found Anderson's stuff, and I love Fear Hunters. And I just bought the original cover for that trade paper book at Heroes this year. And it's just so cool to be able to have, that connection again of like, hey, if you like my stuff, like go check out somebody else's. Or again, like all the people I end up following at Heroes, they were already following, and it's like, okay, like we're in that similar vein. So
it's one of those things. Sometimes you go to conventions and you go to places and you see, it feels like there's like a competition between artists and like, I don't want to send you over here because I want you to buy something from me.
Yeah.
Heroes never feels like that. Heroes always feels much more like, oh, I love this. Here, take this and go over here and do this thing. That being said, I got this this at Heroes, this monsters from the Godzilla movies by
I say, yeah, blow that up. Yeah.
Drew. I'm gonna mispronounce this. Weg, I think is how you Wang is how you say his name.
That sounds
Drew Wang.
It's great. He does a book called Margot Malou, which is a good book. But I got one of the originals. He did these for Inktober, and I picked up the Rodan. Rodan's my favorite Godzilla monster. So
very good choice.
That's the kind of thing where it's finding people. Drew's been going to the show for years, and we've never talked. And so we got to talk at the show and get piece, like getting a piece from somebody that you like is super fun. It's one of those things. I had never seen him. He's great. He should be good.
Yeah.
I was sending people over to his table once I found it and saw that Godzilla thing, and I was like, "Go! This is something that's up your alley. You should go get this."
No, I mean it's all. I mean, and like Dustin brought up and attested to, like I was like, dude, Dustin, we got to go to his table. Like you got to look at his stuff. Like flip through again. Like when I find an artist, then not only do I like their art, but again, I just like their personality and who they are. All I want to do is just share it, and that's one of my things I love about the show is because Dustin and I, started it just talking about Skottie, but now being able to have the opportunity to have artists like yourself or Derek or Brett on, and again, I didn't know Brett Bean's work before Skottie had him on to do I Hate Fairyland. I love Derek Loftman's work. I'd followed him for years and back Kickstarters before Skottie, so it was just like really cool to get that connection. But to get new artists and get eyes on stuff, because again, I love a lot and I can't keep up with everything, and Dustin and Seth and the group, they're so good about comic artists, but I'm like, man, I'd love to know all the comic artists if I could, but it's like there's just so many that I can't, so to be able to get that Heroes Con and get that, all pressed into one, so you can kind of like get your, the lay of the land is always nice. So
it's a great show.
Yeah, not long after he introduced me, and we got back and we started talking about future ideas for the show, I messaged him. I said, "Hey, I just messaged Jamie, see if he wanted to come on," because he's like, "Oh, well, he hasn't, necessarily Skottie related. How are we going to spin it?" And I was like, "Yeah, but dude, this is the commissions he did at Heroes were I Hate Fairyland." And I was like, we've got to get him on. Not because, let's go back to what we had referenced. I remembered what Zach kind of knocked me from saying earlier. is that we've been up to artist table. Oh, you didn't have to. Yeah, I didn't see my face. That's fine. But you've been up to artist table, and it just kind of sours you on their art by their personality and their presentation and the way they act towards their fans. And luckily, most of the people that we like, that we follow, are people that are also just genuine good people. I can't. My mouth is getting like caught.
I know. I've run out of water like an hour ago.
Yeah, so, but yeah. I mean, and whenever Brett came on, whenever Derek came on, and now yourself. I mean, you all are just good guys that we would not only like to hang with, but also love to buy your art. Love to, and we want to let other people know about you. And not just for the, I mean, this is a luxury to have you on and get to chat with you for 2 hours for us. I mean, this is so much fun for us, and we can't thank you enough.
Yeah.
But we want other people in the group to see that and to appreciate that, and also buy your art and books and stuff.
Yeah. And
Dude, I appreciate it. This has been awesome.
Well, I'm kind of I'm jumping ahead, Dustin, but this feels right to introduce this here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We can now induct you into our rare club of the Certified Good Buddy Club.
You're certified. Wow. Congratulations, and we're sorry. You're
joining the ranks of Derek Loffman is where it started, and I guess this is just a staple now. But
whenever so if you choose to come back on in the future, you will be recognized
on our end, exactly. Yeah.
And this is when Jamie decided he would never come back on the show again. So.
Listen, I would love being a certified good buddy.
I don't know. We may kill this one after it's over with, but where are we? Well, yeah, I forgot where we're at. We've jumped around in our slides. We usually go in order, but this has been so much fun trying to find the ones, and especially when you start talking about certain art or certain time period, we wanted to make sure and hit those points in the slides. We've got that one. Yeah, and I'm starting to push it through a little bit because I'm thinking Jamie's got other stuff to do. He's running several companies now. So, but thank you so much for taking the commission requests that you did from the group. Yes. These were some of the really the prelims and then the inks for it. But for anybody still watching, these are some of the finished pieces that Jamie sent us today. There was 6 pieces. Dre was on earlier. That is his crypto. As soon as I saw that, I hated him immediately. Mike Becker got the speedball, which was really, really incredible looking.
Yeah.
I can't think of the gentleman's name. I've got the list.
No.
Matt Rogers Menifee.
Oh,
got the better. And he had a very specific request in his commission request, and it was like holding one sword that I'd never heard of and one axe that I'd never heard of, and Jamie put them both in his hand, so that's really good. Maureen, who has been on the show before, is one of our guests, is a fan of Skottie's, got the Jack Skeleton, I believe, and she will be, it was Maureen,
Very
she'll
cool.
be pleased with that. And Dre's still here. Let's go back to look at crypto. That was so good.
Good.
Just seeing this version of crypto here,
Yeah.
I knew it was going to turn out great. And then whenever I saw that was incredible. But let's get to the important one that was done. Helicorn. That one is mine.
Foreshadowing, yes.
Yeah. I was driving to take my daughter to work prior to this, and my mouth dropped when you sent this one. Luckily, I stayed on the road, but luckily that was... And then Matt Rogers also got the man bat. So that... Yeah, so he had got one full body and one head sketch. So, Becker.
The man bat was fantastic.
What did I say, Batman? You said.
Okay,
I thought I messed up. I was going to apologize.
No, I was just going to say, and I like too that you posted, because Skeff, who we had on, had a great point about, when asking commissions, he tends to like to ask the artist what they want to draw, what gets them excited, and seeing your post, about how this is kind of getting you excited to draw more superhero stuff because you don't generally draw it nowadays was super fun to read.
Yeah, it's I don't draw superheroes anymore. It's been very superhero. Like after seeing Superman, I was like, oh man, I want to draw Superman all the time. Getting crypto, I got a Bizarro.
What?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, if there's any you want to show. Dre got the crypto, and he did say he's ordering another commission off the site very soon. Thanks, Jamie. Wow. And Becker said speedball. That was his. Mike Becker got the speedball, so that was his.
Yes. Oh man,
Oh, that's.
I love that cool blue you do, like you do with the
Oh,
baboon.
that shading is so
Like
good.
it's so good.
It's I got it from Drew Moss does.
Oh yeah,
this.
Drew Moss, yeah.
He will this is a John Constantine.
Oh man.
He shades everything first in a neutral purple color, and then is able to like Copic over with the actual color that it is, and it's
Oh, okay. Well,
Oh wow.
I should have. Yeah, I now realize I need more of like everyone else's in the group.
yeah. And so I've been doing that with the coloring, and I use FW inks for all of this stuff.
Okay. And I was
because
going to
I
ask
like
you, yeah,
the-
if it's because I said blue, I'm colorblind, and blue purples I get.
forget-
Being
I
an
forget
artist,
that,
that's
yeah.
an incredibly difficult thing to deal with. But
Oh, sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Purples.
Hey, do you have any more you want to show, Jamie, or you can show the ones we showed, or the finished ones? Do you have the finished ones that you could hold up there,
I don't know if I have any more finished ones.
or the 6 that we showed screenshots of? If you've got the actual copies of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't ask that. Oh man.
Gatorade Bill.
So cool. The colors are it's
Here's that
Wait,
speedball,
yeah.
which is
There you go, Becker.
super fun.
so good. My wife and I were gushing over like the colors of like in the leg area, like the shading, like the colors, just how that they bleed in. Like it's just so good.
Speedball is one of those characters nobody has you draw Speedball.
Yeah.
He's such a fun. That's kind of where
Oh yeah.
my sensibilities lie
Mhm.
too. The
That's
teenage
good.
characters. I'm a big Legion of Superheroes fan.
Yes.
Uh,
The 3 years you have of content that you can do, that
again,
you've
I could
or
I could
more.
write and
3
draw
years
that
is
book
the
for 3
minimum.
years. Yes, I could write and draw that book for at least 3 years. And I've got a pitch. I've got so many things. It's
That's awesome.
you
Yeah.
make all. There's a
Yeah,
guy
yes.
who gets everyone to draw Stingray, which is
Ooh.
another.
Yeah, I've said yeah.
It's a weird thing. It's a weird request, but it's cool if you get.
I've seen
I-
his stuff on one of the Facebook groups, one of the sketch Facebook groups.
Yeah.
That he pops up on. So
Yeah, Newell's good.
I almost how you do. I've kind of started doing that with. I'm a big fan of Joe Mad's work, and Darksiders is one of my favorite video games. And I love the Four Horsemen, and that's kind of been my go-to now for people to just draw like
That's a
whichever the Four Horsemen you want, war, death, kind
That's
of
a
your
good.
pick.
That's a good pick. Yeah, I'm always. I have a little sketchbook. It's just of all old strip characters, so I'll just pass it around to give to people to draw in.
Oh, that's super
That's
cool.
always one of those things where it's like you never know what you're going to get from people. But Rich Tommaso did a Fritzy Ritz in it.
Oh, nice.
At Heroes. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
here's a sketchbook.
Have at it. Yeah.
man, I feel like we need to
That
end the
is
show
awesome.
end the show on this helicorn here. This is just just stare at it for a few minutes. So, all right, we got to do the promos time. This is all
Yes.
of spots you can find Jamie and his work that was compiled by Tyler. Did a great job compiling all these sites. So
Yeah.
make
So
sure to check
we've
them
been
out.
throwing up those banners.
Kudos.
I also had the
Yeah.
Twitch. I saw that you're still doing Twitch. It looked like possibly Tuesday, Fridays.
I'm trying.
Okay.
I'm currently this is not my house. This is currently my childhood bedroom that I am in. So I don't have a cool setup right now.
Yeah.
To be able to do it, but yeah, Twitch is great. It's super fun. When I have the things to do and sit down and be able to do it, I need to get back on it because it's super fun.
Yeah, I love the live videos. I don't utilize it enough, but it's when you get somebody who you can follow and you love their style or I just love watching. It's super fun to be able to tune in and just kind of hang out and chill.
It turns into a lot of theory, a lot of drawing theory, which is sometimes like somebody will be like, "How do you draw this?" And I go, "All right, let me put aside everything,
the thing,
and talk about how to draw something in 3-point perspective or something like that," which is fun, but it's also like sometimes I'm trying to do work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm just streaming my work, and then I get derailed and I start talking. And sometimes we have a little thing called Jamie's soapbox.
Oh gosh.
Where when I get really, really passionate about something and I start complaining, I'll turn on the soapbox thing.
I like that.
And that happens a lot.
It's an easy box to stand on.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I had a quick question for you, Jamie. Someone has been asking, if you go to the banner that I had put up here, Jamie does have his commission list open. I had it up a few seconds ago. There it is. Jamie's commission list is open for the full figure pieces. And also for the Pulptober, do you happen to have the 31 of those in like an art file or something, like something you could zip me in an email and I could post to the group to let them know what you still have available?
I can zip. Yes, I can zip.
Yeah, just email it to me, and then I'll create the post in the Skottie Young group, and then that way, and then I'll send them your contact information if they're interested in purchasing one. So
that will be good. I can go through and be like, I don't have this one. I don't have this one.
Yeah, that'll be perfect, because I figured that'd be the easiest way to do. Somebody said they didn't have Instagram. One of one of the chat members said that.
Good for you. I wish I didn't have to have.
Yeah, you're an old school Instagram guy. Me and Tyler were talking. It's like you go back to like 2014 on Instagram.
Yeah,
that's wild. It's because of the comic shop. They made me like all of my stuff is the same thing, so it's all art of Jamie Jones on like, throughout all of the social media stuff. Yeah.
Jamie had zero. I didn't want to bore you. That's my gimmick. That's my gimmick. I'm an accountant, so I love my charts and graphs, and I typically have one about every other show. But I spared you tonight, Jamie.
Oh man, I'm so curious about what these bar graphs are now.
Yeah, if you got some downtime and it doesn't sound like you have a whole lot, watch a past episode, and a bar chart graph will probably pop up. I guarantee it. So. Yeah, take my money. Yeah, Dre was very happy with it. He's the one that's going to pick up a future commission. And there's a couple guys that have messaged me. They didn't get on the list that I sent you this week, but I told them to make sure and contact you. I sent them to your site, so hopefully you'll get flooded with commission requests soon. So
that'll be good. I'm ready for it.
And we're ready. Yeah, we're ready to check them out. So.
Oh yeah, well we've already did the intro.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
now.
Yeah, so we do have a giveaway. It's Tyler signed up for Jamie's. I'm sorry, I'm trying to hide this. There we go.
Yes, I was part of the free, and then I was like, I don't know why I haven't upgraded yet, because I love Spakal and I want to support you and keep going and stuff. And then when I had done that, it gave me the prompt to be able to enter up to 5 emails to give 30 free days of paid subscriber benefits to Spakal. So I thought, what better giveaway to give? Because we've been, for reference, we've been giving away something each month this year to celebrate the Skottie Young Facebook group, and anything from sign and sketch, comic from Derek Loffman, or just comics we have and that kind of stuff. So we thought it'd be great to just kind of funnel it back into you for your episode to Spakal, and hopefully, the people that get this will kind of continue to donate and everything. So I'm going to be doing a wheel spin. I think I've gotten everybody's names. At one point I remembered I was supposed to be doing that. So I my eyes, if they look up at my second monitor, I was like, oh no, I got to put in the names. So I will be spinning the wheel, and the first 5 people. Dustin, if you wouldn't mind just jotting your names down. Then that way, whoever it lands on, we can get your emails. I can plug you into the Substack stuff, and then you'll be part of the Spakal Substack. So
y'all got the first one.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
cool.
Funny, the first personal there.
This is so exciting.
And I love I don't know if y'all can hear, it has clapping and every sound effects and everything too. Ryan P. We have a lot of Ryans, so the Ryans I have to add their last initial.
Gosh. I feel like I'm the Vanna White to your Pat Sajak. I'm just repeating names.
I love that comparison. That's great. Becker, we get Becker on there.
Michael Becker. There we go. I had no value.
It's fun to see it get smaller too with all the names.
Yeah,
we had a good amount of people. Looks like Shane. Shane can get in there.
Congratulations, Shane.
For them, I don't know why I included the period after their last initial. I got fancy with Shane.
Yeah. We like to spice it up. And
Looks
last
like
but not
Gray
least,
is going to be our final person. So, to the 5 of you, we'll reach out. If you can just give me your emails, I can plug them in. I've never done this before, so I'm assuming it just shoots you like, hey, you've gotten 1 month subscription to Spakaal. So
what's pretty cool is 4 of the 5 people that won actually bought commissions from Jamie during this op. So
nice.
yeah, so
Yeah, that's super sweet.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's I love Substack. I'm glad you're on because I checked your Patreon, and and again, like that whole pivot thing, again, Patreon kind of was the thing, but now Substack seems to be the place to be, for creators like yourself. So
yeah, Substack's really great. It's been really cool to just be like super honest about how the industry, how things have been working and what things are going on. It's always one of those things where you have to balance being like, well, this is what's going on in my life and I don't want to talk about it, versus this is what's going on in my life and I guess I have to talk about it. The big thing being the new printing for Spakaal moving forward was a huge, those are my best performing posts, right? Because it was like something about the industry and something about printing and stuff, and it's all it's all weird, and you're always trying to like pivot around and do stuff.
No, I mean it's and honestly, I definitely can give Substack, the benefit for really all of this kind of happening. Dustin and I being a part of the show, I'd followed Skottie for years, but I never really interacted with him on like previous, social media platforms and stuff. And then I just decided he like came out, he had his like, the free one, but then you could like, do a certain amount and it would be like the premium and you get all the benefits. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to interact with like every single post, like just like every post, but make sure to comment on every single post. And, I mean, it's just been so awesome to be able to get kind of personal like that with them and artists like yourself and Brett Bean and those personal posts are some of my favorites. So
it's one of those things where you posting and commenting on posts on Substack means more than posting on Instagram. It just does, because it's like, oh, I've spent so much time writing this post and now you're responding, and then keeping the dialogue going and keeping the conversation going. It's definitely, it's really great when people interact or respond. It is like everyone, you saying you do this, it's like, oh yeah, thanks, because like that's what the platform is for.
No, yeah, I mean, and that's what I love, and that because Instagram, there's word limits, and you can't get your thoughts out. It's for quick, bites, which is what's kind of great, but it's also kind of terrible in its own right, of just getting the best, of everything, and that's what I love are those lengthy in-depth posts where it's more deep diving, and I'm somebody who I respond. I have like bullet points, like, all right, I'm responding to that paragraph, now I'm responding to that paragraph. So I write essays myself in return.
It's good, and it means a lot. Like I'm about to write a review on a writing book that I'll put up on Substack, just because I want to talk about it more, and there's one place that I can do it on that seems to have some kind of traction.
That's awesome. Yeah, I haven't been. I'm starting the ball rolling on yours, so I'm like I'm like keep acquiring more. I'm like, all right, I gotta like make sure like comment and keep up, because again I want to do that because I want the return of getting more posts, getting more interaction, and that's the thing is I've always been bad about that, of whether that's giving positive reviews for a restaurant or something or whatever. Like again, that exchange is what keeps things going rather than just consuming like we're so prone to doing in this day and age. So
yeah, for sure.
And Tyler's comments are so well thought out. And if my phone's about to go down, I had to charge my phone, so it might not be as clear, but Tyler's always puts really well thought out comments, and I can appreciate that, because my wife, every time I respond to a text or a message, I write like 3 paragraphs. And she's like, just write yes or no. Why? They don't need to know all this information. And I was like, well, I'm writing answers to questions they may have based upon my answers.
You're preempting.
I'm writing for the future. Exactly. They don't even know that they have this question yet.
That's right. Educating them. All right. Becker had the great comment. Wait, who, Skottie? I thought this was a Jamie Jones group. I'm only gonna put this one up for a second, so I don't want Skottie to get mad. Skottie doesn't know that JB's taking away his thunder. Yeah, we're not putting that one up too long.
Listen, Skottie's a big guy. I think I can take him.
I'll throw in. I'll help you with that.
Thanks.
I'll
You
tag
go,
team.
you go high, I'll go low.
I love Skottie, but I'll take him out. I'll try. I'll do my best.
Yeah, this part's getting edited out and cutting room floor right here.
Oh,
All right. Well, Jamie, we've kept you on almost 2.5 hours. Our little promo for the next couple of weeks, our good buddy who is also in the club, you and him, I don't know if you've ever met Derek, but when you do, you all will have that brotothood.
Well, yes, this is true. Yeah, I can't wait to meet him.
And you could talk about it in shame.
Have to make like actual patches or stickers or something.
It's not getting too fancy. But Derek will be appearing on August 14th. It'll be one day after the August 13th issue 43 drops for I Hate Fairyland. He's going to be showcasing the art from that issue, plus having details on the art drop on his website on August 15th. And he had mentioned previewing the pages that will be sold then and also pricing. So make sure and tune in for that one. And that's
Or don't, so that we can get first pick of the pages.
Exactly. Yeah. And also,
you have to have them for the slides, right? You have to.
Very true.
Right. Send them here. We'll take good care of them. And then October 15th is right whenever issue 45, Popeye issue that we talked about Popeye earlier. We bring it back to Popeye. Yeah. The Popeye and Gert issue with special guest artist Jay Fosgett. He'll be coming on. We set a tentative date because that's so far in the future, but we wanted to get something locked in so we could see the artwork behind issue 45 of I Hate Fairyland with special guest Popeye in that issue. So really looking forward to that as well.
Have you guys ever met Jay?
Have not.
No.
Oh, gosh, what a treat. You guys are in for it.
I always love hearing that because I'm like, man, this was a treat. So I'm like, if this was a treat, then yeah, I can't wait for that treat next. So
super sweet guy.
Yeah, a plethora of riches that we have here on Skottie Talk. We always look forward to hanging out with our, not just the artists that come on, but we also have fans that come on. And we haven't been disappointed yet. This is such a fun avenue to
they might have been, but we haven't.
And it's all about us at the end of the day, right, Tyler?
Exactly.
Skottie will also be at Terrificon coming up in August 8th through the 10th. Great show. He was there last year, had a great turnout for that. So if you're in that area, Connecticut area, make sure and go and support that. And last but not least, if you want to be on the show with me and Tyler and hang out, we'll try to keep you less than 2.5 hours. No promises.
That's a lie.
I say that every time, and they all know me by now. So, but yeah, y'all, anybody's welcome to come on and hang out with us and just talk Skottie or talk art or talk whatever. We're game. All right, Jamie, is there anything else you want to plug that we might not have hit on?
Yeah.
Any con appearances coming up or anything?
No con appearances that I know of. We're still waiting to determine on a date, but I am the program director for Indie Comics Creator Con, which is a really fun show. We're waiting on a date for next year, but that's a thing. So go follow all of the Indie Comics Creator Con social media things. Power Pulp, we're here. We're doing a thing. We're making stuff. Galaxy Gods #2 currently has its Kickstarter running. That is a book by James Coates, who is one of the Power Pulp guys. I have an interview dropping with him tomorrow. Hopefully, if I do, I have to draw a little sketch for it, but when it comes out, it will come out. And so super fun, super cool guy. But yeah, that's it. Follow me. I'm
awesome.
Spackow. The way the Substack works, if you are a paid subscriber for the Substack, every time I get an issue done, I send it out to your address, and there's no shipping costs. That's the thing. I won't charge for shipping on that. So it's like you pick it up at a convention. So,
well, that's incredibly generous. Yeah, I love being able to have that connection again and being able to I picked up the bundle, but now being able to subscribe in that sense is really cool. So
yeah.
And I just shared the video link I shared was from a video I meant to watch. I didn't get to, unfortunately, but the Indie Comics Creator Con pre-show that Jamie was a part of. It's like a 4-hour long video of going through, and I was just going to be like, put it on while I work and just kind of, let things go. So
Those are the best videos there.
That was a crazy show. It starts off, I pop a bottle of champagne. Like it's wild.
Starting things off right, I see.
Yeah.
All right, and
No,
Jamie,
that's
if you don't
awesome,
mind,
man.
if you don't mind hanging on for just a minute after the show ends, I got to ask you a quick question, and then if nothing else, thank you so much for coming on. We'd love to have you back anytime you have free time or something to promote. You're more than welcome. That your good buddy status gives you free reign of whenever you choose to come on. So,
well, thanks.
Yeah, you get in front of Skottie. He's not on that list yet, so you get in front of Skottie.
That's right. I'm gonna go rubbing in his face.
Perfect.
Tell him Tyler said it. Not
Yeah.
Well, yes, thank you everybody for joining us. Please tune in next week. If you didn't get a chance to fully watch the show or had to jump out, or if you didn't get included in the 5 people as part of the Substack, again, go check out Spacal's Substack, go check out Power Pulp Substack. Everybody's on Substack now, and I greatly love it. But until next time, stay fresh, live messy, and we'll catch everyone later.